Chapter 443. Tang Zheng's good intentions could not be revealed to outsiders, so he resolutely told Yi Xuanji, "Tang Zheng, from now on, you are not allowed to take even half a step into the Ye family." Tang Zheng grinned and said, "I couldn't ask for more." He cupped his hands towards Yi Tianlei and the other two and said, "Uncle Yi, Auntie Feng, Ding Ding, I'll be leaving first." He turned around and walked out the door. Little White laid on his shoulder, not to be outdone, and bared its fangs at the others and barked twice. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at each other, not knowing what to do. "Wait a minute." Yi Dingdang rushed up and grabbed Tang Zheng's hand. "Someone won't let you take even half a step into the Ye family, then I won't enter this house either, we'll leave together." Yi Dingdang did not have a sense of belonging to the Beijing Ye family, so seeing Tang Zheng being chased out of the door and facing the impending danger alone, she was quite dissatisfied. She was a person who dared to do what she wanted. Others could ignore Tang Zheng, but she couldn't. The warmth of his embrace at the airport still lingered in her heart, so she didn't hesitate to take this step. This step was very big for everyone, but Yi Dingdang did not care. If she had to choose between Tang Zheng and the Beijing Ye family, she would choose Tang Zheng without even thinking about it. Moreover, going through trials and tribulations together was something she had always dreamed of. Didn't the matchless hero and the heroine have to go through such trials and tribulations to make this relationship so precious? Therefore Yi Dingdang had a deep romantic gene in her bones. The others were shocked by Yi Dingdang's actions. In their eyes, this was simply crazy. She was actually willing to break ties with the Ye family for an outsider. This was treason. Yi Xuanji's face instantly darkened. His gaze became extremely sharp as he coldly stared at Yi Dingdang and asked, "Dingdang, do you know what you're saying?" Due to Yi Dingdang's sudden display of talent in martial arts, Yi Xuanji had already placed Yi Dingdang as a member of the next generation that he would focus on nurturing. Now that he saw her unhesitatingly wanting to follow Tang Zheng, how could he not be angry? What Yi Xuanji cared about the most was the loyalty of others to him and to the Ye family. Why was Yi Tianlei able to return after being kicked out of the family for so many years? His loyalty to the Ye family was one of the most important criteria. Yi Dingdang raised her head and said, "Of course I know. Since I, Yi Dingdang, am Tang Zheng's fiancé, of course I have to follow him." "Nonsense, what fiancé? That's just a joke, how can you take it seriously?" Yi Xuanji retorted. Yi Dingdang pouted and snorted, saying, "To others it may be a joke, but to me, Yi Dingdang, this is the golden rule. I am Tang Zheng's fiancé, no one can change that." After saying that, she tightened her grip on Tang Zheng's hand. Tang Zheng felt that her palms were already sweating. To make such a decision and say such words, it was truly commendable for her. Looking at her beautiful face that was just inches away, Tang Zheng felt warmth in his heart. He thought to himself, what did I do to make her so infatuated that she would pay such a huge price? His relationship with Yi Dingdang was not something that could be explained in one sentence. No one knew when the relationship between the two had undergone a qualitative change. All of this happened naturally. It seemed abrupt, but it was also logical. Being contradicted by Yi Dingdang like this, Yi Xuanji was so angry that smoke almost came out of his 7 orifices. The veins on the back of his hand that was grabbing onto the chair's armrest were bulging. Yi Tianlei knew his father's temper very well. His face turned pale as he hurriedly explained, "Father, Dingdang is young and doesn't know any better. Don't lower yourself to her level." Although he could stand firmly on Tang Zheng's side, he would not be like Yi Dingdang and leave the Ye family. He had a strong sense of belonging to the Ye family. Otherwise, he would not be so obsessed with returning to the Ye family after so many years. Yi Xuanji unhappily said, "Tianlei, look at how you educate your daughter." "You don't need to tell me how my dad educated me," Yi Dingdang retorted. She had never been in awe of Yi Xuanji's authority, and back then, when she was in the ordinary balance, she dared to go against him. Now, for the sake of Tang Zheng, she did not have the slightest bit of hesitation or fear. The others were dumbstruck as they looked at Yi Dingdang. The majority of the people did not know much about Yi Dingdang. Seeing him directly contradict the head of the family, their mouths were about to be stuffed with a large egg. Ever since Yi Dingdang came to the capital, she had been completely defeated. In front of Yi Xuanji she was like a mouse that had seen a cat and was about to hide. Anyone with a discerning eye could tell that Yi Xuanji was more satisfied with Yi Dingdang than with Yi Meiyu. Yi Meiyu was just worried that she wouldn't have a chance to counter the other party, but now that she had bumped into the muzzle of the gun, how could she let it go? Thus, Yi Meiyu immediately reprimanded him righteously. "Yi Dingdang, what are you saying? You are a member of the Ye family, how can you abandon the Ye family for an outsider? You are truly too disappointing, this kind of disloyal, unfilial and unfilial person is simply the shame of the Ye family. Tang Jing immediately frowned. These people were getting more and more out of hand. He immediately stood up and stood in front of Yi Dingdang to protect her, saying, "Ding Dong's matters are not for you to interfere, scram to the side." Yi Dingdong's eyes were brimming with joy. Such harsh words were definitely domineering, causing Yi Meiyu's fair face to immediately turn red with anger. "How can the Ye family allow you to speak rudely?" Yi Tianming suddenly shouted and jumped up from his chair, attacking Tang Zheng at lightning speed, slapping him hard on the cheek. If this slap hit, Tang Zheng's teeth would probably be knocked out. It would definitely be very embarrassing. The others did not expect Yi Tianming to suddenly attack, but it was too late for them to help. Yi Tianlei only had time to shout, "Stop," but Yi Tianming had already arrived in front of Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng did not move, he did not even let go of Yi Dingdong's hand. His eyes gradually turned cold, and the other party's palm quickly became bigger in his eyes. Boom! A flame erupted from Tang Zheng's shoulder and flew directly towards Yi Tianming, the blazing temperature instantly disappearing from the cold winter in the hall. Yi Tianming suddenly saw a flash of fire in front of him, and a heat wave rushed towards him. He quickly rolled back in the air, trying to avoid the flame attack. However, he was too close to Tang Zheng. Although he avoided most of the flames, his eyebrows were burned by the flames. After a burning smell, his eyebrows disappeared. He landed awkwardly and immediately felt a burning pain in his eyebrows. He wiped it with his hand and it was bald. He was ashamed and angry, but he did not dare to rush forward again. Instead, he stared at the culprit in horror and said, "Monster?" The culprit Xiaobai grinned. It was extremely cute and harmless. However, after seeing the power of the flames it spat out, no one dared to think that it was harmless. This little guy was too scary. Tang Jing patted Xiaobai's head and praised, "Good job." Since Tang Zheng's identity had been exposed, there was no need to hide Xiaobai's identity. This time he could use Yi Tianming to practice. He caught Yi Tianming off guard and made him embarrassed. Yi Tianming had been pampered since childhood and had never been played and embarrassed like this. He was almost fuming with anger and immediately shouted, "Surround him. He is not allowed to walk out of the Ye family today." A few people immediately rushed out from the crowd and blocked the door of the hall. Yi Tianlei immediately shouted, "What are you doing?" "What are we doing?" "Humph, Tianlei, you invited the wolf into the house. You can't escape the blame this time." Yi Tianming spoke with conviction. He turned to look at Yi Xuanji and said, "Father, we can't let Tang Jing leave. He is a huge hidden danger. If we don't get rid of him today, he will destroy the Ye family in the future." "Big brother, don't be an alarmist. You are slandering me," Yi Tianlei retorted. "I'm slandering you? You can ask the others if what I said makes sense. If we don't get rid of him today, are we going to wait until he kills the Ye family in the future? Moreover, the Wu Zong will be very happy to get rid of him. The Yin family has the support of the Li Palace. If the Ye family gets the support of the Wu Zong, we will be able to suppress the other families and compete with the Yin family. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." Yi Tianming's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Tang Zheng's eyes were cold. This Yi Tianming was really not easy to deal with. He was insidious enough. He wanted to use him as a bargaining chip to claim credit for the Wu Zong, so as to exchange benefits for the Ye family. However, if Yi Tianming knew that the master of the Wu Zong did not hesitate to use Wu Zong's innocence to save Tang Zheng, he would not be so confident. The atmosphere changed in an instant. Feng Xinyang did not hesitate to stand in front of Tang Zheng and said, "If you want to touch my son-in-law, you have to ask me first." Yi Tianlei was in a dilemma. He looked around and was at a loss. He could only persuade earnestly, "Everyone, if you have something to say, don't hurt the harmony. Tang Zheng is a guest from afar. Is this how our Ye family treats guests?" "Ah, guest? We don't admit it." Yi Tianming pressed on step by step. In the end, even Yi Ke stood up and stood on the same line as Yi Tianming. They were the father and son soldiers. There were many innate masters in this room, especially those few old men. They were the few remaining innate masters of the Ye family. They were the mainstay of the Ye family, except for Yi Xuanji. Yi Tianlei did not think that Tang Zheng would be a match for so many people. Even if they joined forces, they would not be a match. Yi Tianlei regretted it. If he had known earlier, he would not have brought Tang Zheng to the Ye family. Otherwise, he would not have fallen into such a desperate situation. Yi Tianlei was not reconciled. He looked at Yi Xuanji, who was still sitting calmly, and said, "Father, we can't let these people do whatever they want. This will ruin the reputation of our Ye family. Moreover, Tang Zheng has no enmity with our Ye family. Doing this is against morality." Yi Xuanji's face was uncertain. He weighed the pros and cons. Yi Tianming's suggestion was indeed a good idea. Chapter 444. Tang Jing was very smart. Seeing that Yi Xuanji was silent, he laughed and said, "Ha, interesting. I know what you guys are thinking. You want to get rid of me, right? Then go ahead. Let's see if you have the ability to do so." Tang Jing walked past Yi Tianlei and stood up, looking around, the corner of his mouth slightly raised, full of disdain. Yi Xuanji remained silent. He had yet to make his final decision, but Yi Tianming could not wait any longer. He was prepared to make the first move to gain the upper hand. What's done cannot be undone, so he shouted and attacked Tang Jing once again. This time he was very alert and was especially vigilant against Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai grinned and was about to spit fire again. However, Tang Jing stopped him and said, "Xiao Bai, you don't have to do anything. Let me test him." Little White nodded, jumped down from his shoulder and stood by the side to provide support. Tang Jing walked towards Yi Tianming as if he was taking a stroll in the park. Yi Tianming was overjoyed when he saw this. He was very afraid of Xiao Bai. Since Xiao Bai was not going to help him, he was very confident that he could deal with Tang Jing. A huge fist went straight for Tang Jing's head. Tang Jing did not hesitate and lightly pointed his finger. Poof! The air vibrated and a sharp sword energy rippled out. Yi Tianming's punch missed, and Tang Jing's finger was already pointing at his chest. That finger was like a sharp sword that could cut through his hair. Yi Tianming finally sensed the danger. When the finger pierced his chest, he quickly retreated with the tip of his foot. Poof! A stream of blood gushed out from his chest. He was injured. Ah! The others exclaimed. This was too unbelievable. Yi Tianming was the second strongest person in the Ye family. He was a 5th grade innate stage expert. How could he be injured in one move? This scene seemed unreal no matter how they looked at it. But it really happened. Swish, swish, swish. Almost instantly, everyone's eyes were focused on Tang Jing. Everyone suddenly realized why his aura was so strong. It turned out that he was hiding his strength. Yi Tianming covered his chest. Fortunately, he retreated in time. The wound was not deep. Otherwise, his heart might have been pierced by this finger. His face had turned pale. He stared at Tang Jing in disbelief and said, "How can you be so powerful?" Tang Jing smiled but did not speak. He could see the opponent's strength from this move. Therefore, he was not afraid of him and said, "Don't you want to fight? Then let's continue. You are dilly-dallying. Are you afraid?" As soon as he finished speaking, he took the initiative to launch an attack. Yi Tianming's body was covered by Tang Jing's finger shadows from top to bottom. Yi Tianming could only respond in a hurry. People with discerning eyes immediately saw the clues. Tang Jing's attack was very sharp. Yi Tianming was forced to receive the attack. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at each other. They already knew that Tang Jing's cultivation was equivalent to a 5th grade innate stage expert. But now that they saw it with their own eyes, they understood how powerful this realm was. They also knew that Yi Tianming was a 5th grade innate stage expert. However, when these two 5th grade innate stage experts were compared, the difference was obvious. The others were shocked. Yi Ku and Yi Meiyu's throats were a little dry. Yi Tianming had a very high position in their hearts, but he was forced into such a situation. Yi Xuanji's expression fluctuated as he was unable to express his shock. He was very clear on what level Tang Jing was at in the past. In just a few short months, he was actually able to suppress his precious son that he had raised for decades. The gap was too big. Could it be that cultivators were really so invincible? He no longer dared to waver and weigh the pros and cons. He shouted, "Stop." He stood up from the chair and struck out with his palm. The sound of wind and thunder was loud. He passed Yi Tianming and struck towards Tang Jing first. Bang! Tang Jing's finger touched the other party's palm. He couldn't help but take a few steps back. His blood and qi were surging. He took a few deep breaths and calmed down. After all, Yi Xuanji was a 1st grade innate stage expert, and Tang Jing was a 5th grade innate stage expert. Without a treasure, he was still not Yi Xuanji's opponent in a one-on-one fight. "Tang Jing, you can leave. I won't keep you here. We have nothing to do with each other in the future," Yi Xuanji said in a deep voice. He had already made a decision. Tang Jing had such a cultivation at such a young age. His future achievements were limitless. However, the dangers that cultivators faced were also immeasurable. Yi Xuanji didn't dare to tie the Ye family and Tang Jing together. He also didn't dare to really get rid of Tang Jing, so the only choice was to sever ties with him. Tang Jing guessed the other party's thoughts. He sneered and turned around to leave. Xiao Bai jumped on his shoulder again. "Tang Jing, I'll go with you," Yi Dingdang said without hesitation. Ding Dang, stop. He can go, but you are a member of the Ye family. You are not allowed to walk out of this door. Yi Xuanji stopped her. I want to go. Yi Ding Dang unhesitatingly held onto Tang Zheng's hand as she pouted her lips. Yi Xuanji's expression became more and more ugly. He couldn't accept that he couldn't control his granddaughter. Seeing that he was about to flip out, Yi Tianlei had an idea. He quickly protected Yi Ding Dang and advised, Ding Ding, listen to Grandpa. Let Tang Jing leave here first. It was impossible for Yi Tianlei to be like Yi Ding Dang and step out of the house without any hesitation. It was not easy for him to return to the Yi clan, so how could he let all his hard work go to waste? However, he couldn't let anything happen to Tang Jing and his daughter. So, appeasing Yi Xuanji's anger was the most appropriate thing to do. I won't. Since this family doesn't welcome Tang Jing, then there's no need for me to stay. Yi Ding Dang didn't compromise. Yi Tianlei revealed an awkward expression and said, Ding Dang, don't let your emotions affect your decisions. This matter needs to be discussed at length. Don't worry, your mother and I support you and Tang Jing being together. But you have to pay attention to the way you do it. Feng Xinyang looked deeply at her husband. Of course, she understood her husband's good intentions. Although she had a fiery personality, she wasn't a brainless person. Since Tang Jing could leave safely, then they shouldn't continue to fight. It wouldn't be good for anyone. Ding Dang, listen to your father. How can I just watch such a good son-in-law fly away? Don't worry, we'll take care of everything. Let Tang Jing leave first. Feng Xinyang persuaded. Yi Ding Dang bit her lips and remained unmoved. Tang Jing patted the back of Tang Jing's hand and said, I'll go first. We'll talk about it later. He also understood the situation at the moment. If Yi Ding Dang insisted on doing things her own way, it would put her parents in a bad situation. Yi Tianming would definitely be happy to see it happen. He wouldn't do things that would hurt his relatives and make his enemies happy. Seeing that Tang Jing had spoken, Yi Ding Dang looked at her parents' eager eyes. She finally lowered her head and said, Then? Okay, I'll go to school to find you tomorrow. After Tang Jing left, the hall boiled up from the silence. It was like a market. Many people seemed to wake up from a dream and blamed Yi Tianlei's family of three. Yi Tianming had a cold smile on his face. Just now he didn't defeat Tang Jing. Instead, he was forced to retreat step by step, which greatly damaged his image. He had to get back at Yi Tianming. Yi Tianming became more vigilant towards his brother who had been separated from him for more than 10 years. This strong competitor for the position of the head of the family must be kicked out as soon as possible. Otherwise, there would be endless troubles. Yi Xuanji watched Tang Jing's figure disappear from his sight from afar. Then he retracted his gaze and glanced at the crowd. He said, Shut up. Don't you think it's embarrassing enough? Everyone immediately kept quiet and looked at Yi Xuanji timidly. Yi Xuanji said, No one is allowed to spread what happened today. In addition, announce to the outside world that the Ye family and Tang Jing have nothing to do with each other anymore. Everyone nodded in agreement. Father, Tianlei didn't care about the safety of the Ye family in this matter. This kind of reckless approach will harm everyone. This kind of thing should be stopped. Yi Tianming said sternly. This matter ends here. No one is allowed to mention it again. Yi Xuanji didn't support Yi Tianming. Instead, he gave the order resolutely. Yi Tianming swallowed back the words in his stomach and nodded resentfully. The crowd dispersed. Yi Tianlei and his family returned to the house. Yi Ding Dang immediately complained, They are burning the bridge after crossing the river. When they needed Tang Jing, they tried their best to rope him in. Now that they found out that Tang Jing is a cultivator, they cut off all ties with him. This kind of approach is too disgusting. Should Ding Dang lower your voice? The walls have ears. Yi Tianlei persuaded. Yi Ding Dang was unmoved. She said, So what if they heard? What am I afraid of? If you didn't stop me just now, I would have left directly. Ding Dang, do you think it's that easy? Do you think the old man will let you leave the Ye family in front of so many people? If that's the case, the Ye family will lose face. The old man will definitely fight with Tang Jing. At that time, the one who will suffer will be Tang Jing. Feng Xinyang said earnestly. They didn't know that Tang Jing was able to escape unscathed from Long Xuanhuan. Otherwise they wouldn't be so worried. Yi Ding Dang's eyes lit up. She suddenly understood. You mean to say that we should let Tang Jing leave first and ensure his safety before we leave? It won't be that easy to leave. The Ye family is not a place where people can come and go as they please. Feng Xinyang said. Yi Ding Dang revealed a disappointed expression and muttered, It's not like I wanted to come. Yi Tianlei said awkwardly, Ding Dang, I know that you have been wronged, but this is your home after all. You can't just throw a tantrum and leave like that. Your mother and I will fully support you and Tang Jing, but you should also understand our difficulties. Yi Dingdang lowered her head and said, all right, as for cutting Tang Jing in two, that is someone else. I will not abide by such a decision. Yi Dingdang had finally taken a step forward in her relationship with Tang Jing, so how could she give up halfway? Feng Xinyang smiled and patted her head, saying, silly girl, of course we know what you're thinking. On the other side, Yi Tianming was flustered and exasperated as he broke a teacup and growled, this Tang Jing definitely cannot stay in this world, he will become our stumbling block. Yi Ku and Yi Meiyu nodded. Dad, then what should we do now? Didn't he boast shamelessly that he had captured a martial sect's captive? If this news gets out, there will definitely be people interested in him, especially the people from the martial sect. Let's see how he deals with it. Yi Tianming sneered. Chapter 445. After leaving the Ye family, Tang Jing also took Nana with him. The little girl held onto Tang Jing's hand and snickered as she chattered on and on. Just now she did not enter the hall, so she did not know what happened in the hall. She was just happy that she could be with Tang Jing. Tang Jing did not take the Ye family's attitude to heart. After all, the Ye family did not pose much of a threat to him. After eating dinner with Nana outside, the sky darkened. The winter in Beijing was bitterly cold. The little girl's face was red from the cold, but she still had a smile on her face. Nana, your mother is not by your side. Do you miss her? Tang Jing asked. Nana nodded her head. Yes, but now that Big Brother is with me, Nana is very happy. Then where are we going to stay tonight? Wherever Big Brother goes, I will go. Nana said. Okay, Big Brother will take you to see an older sister tonight. Tang Jing's heart moved as he prepared to take Nana to see Lu Qingmei. After being separated for so long, he did not know how she was doing. Okay, I guess it must be a beautiful older sister. Nana rolled her eyes and said mischievously. How do you know it's a beautiful older sister? Tang Jing asked curiously. Big Brother is so handsome, there must be a beautiful older sister by your side. This is what Mom said, birds of a feather flock together. Nana said seriously. Tang Jing could not help but laugh. He pinched her pink cheeks and said, Ha, Nana is the smartest. Nana pursed her lips and was not modest at all. Everyone says so. Tang Jing dialed Lu Qingmei's number. The other party's voice was a little noisy, but when she heard Tang Jing's voice, she was obviously very happy. She said that she was playing outside and asked him to go directly to her. Tang Jing stopped a taxi and went straight to their destination, which was a bar. Tang Jing frowned and looked at Nana, saying, Nana, why don't we wait outside? This was not a place for children. Tang Jing did not want to lead a child astray. Nana looked at the brightly lit bar and the men and women going in and out. She shook her head and said, This is a bar. I heard that there are many beautiful sisters inside. Let's go in and take a look. There's nothing to see here. Tang Jing smiled bitterly. That's not true. In the past, when I was in Chang'an City, there were many rich young masters who went to the bar to play. I heard them mention it before, but I haven't been there yet, so I want to take a look. Nan Nan said in all seriousness. The little girl seemed to be filled with curiosity towards everything. Looking at her hopeful eyes, Tang Jing softened. He said in his heart that with him protecting her, no one could hurt her. So he agreed, Okay, I'll hold you. Don't move. Nana excitedly nodded. Nana is the most obedient. Tang Jing carried Nan Nan into the bar. The waiter glanced at them but did not stop them. It had not been long since the sky turned dark and the bar was not at its busiest yet. Even though the music was a bit noisy, it was not unbearable. Nanan's eyes were wide open as she turned her little head and kept looking around. She was really like a curious baby. At this moment there were not many customers. Many seats were still empty. But there were also many customers. Many people shuttled back and forth, exchanging drinks. Tang Jing glanced around and saw several people sitting in a booth. Lu Qingmei was one of them. She carried Nana with Xiao Bai on her shoulder and walked towards the booth. The atmosphere in the booth was not bad. Several people were drinking with each other. Lu Qingmei calmly sat in the corner with a wine glass in front of her. Qingmei. Tang Jing called out. Lu Qingmei suddenly raised her head. Her face blossomed with joy as she said, You came. When the others saw this, they curiously put down their wine glasses. They looked at Lu Qingmei's expression and Tang Jing's sudden appearance. Qingmei, who is this handsome guy? You're so happy just because he came? He can't be your boyfriend, right? Seeing Lu Qingmei's face blossoming with a smile, one person could not help but ask. Hello everyone, my name is Tang Jing. Tang Jing politely introduced himself. He still did not know who these people were. Oh, this handsome guy is very young. Could he really be Qingmei's boyfriend? Someone asked. Lu Qingmei's face revealed a trace of embarrassment. Tang Jing faintly smiled and naturally said, yes. Wah Qingmei, you're too much. You actually have a boyfriend. You're taken. I don't know how many boys' hearts are about to break. Someone loudly said in an exaggerated manner. Yeah, look at their faces. AI, it really is a beauty that attracts people. Qingmei hasn't been in our company for long and she's already been targeted by you guys. Several boys bitterly smiled, but no one answered. Instead they stared at Tang Jing. Although Tang Jing's appearance was slightly immature, his aura was calm and not frivolous. This made people not dare to underestimate him. Tang Jing suddenly realized that these people were Lu Qingmei's colleagues. When he went to Dianan, she was still looking for a job. It seemed that she had found one now. This must be a department party. They were all young people, so they came to the bar. However, with Lu Qingmei's cold personality, the atmosphere of the bar may not be suitable for her. This could be seen from her sitting alone in the corner. Since Tang Jing generously admitted it, although Lu Qingmei was a little shy, she did not refute. She faintly smiled and said, then you guys have fun. I'll go first. Wow, how can you be in a hurry to leave? Since you're here, sit down and have a few drinks. We're all young people. Let's make friends. A young man in a trench coat stood up and said. Lu Qingmei hesitated and looked at Tang Jing. Tang Jing slightly smiled. Since these people were her colleagues, they would be together day and night in the future. There was no need to make the relationship stiff. So he pushed the boat with the current and said, well, let's sit down and have a few drinks. Hey, who is this little sister? Qingmei, is she your daughter? Someone asked. Lu Qingmei made a big red face and said, no, how can I have a daughter? Tang Jing remained calm and collected. He glanced at the audience. There were 5 women and 5 men, but the quality of the 5 women was uneven. Moreover, there was obvious jealousy in the words of several women. Because Lu Qingmei was much more beautiful than them. A company suddenly had such a beautiful new colleague, naturally they did not like it. Nana heard this, raised her pink face and said, Sister Qingmei is the most beautiful here. I would also like to be her daughter. Children's words carried no harm. Nana only spoke her truest thoughts. But in an instant the other women's faces did not look good. They coldly said, this really is a superficial society. Not only men but even children are so snobbish. I really don't know how her parents taught her. Yeah, watching her grow up. What will happen when this kind of brat grows up? Someone agreed. The several women had clearly formed an alliance and were united against a common enemy. Nana did not know what to do. She felt wronged and said, I'm not a brat. Mommy said to be a good baby. Nana is a good baby. The little girl pouted. She felt so wrong that her eyes turned red. Lu Qingmei's face became even colder. She said, she's still a child. As adults, is it appropriate for you to say this? Che, she praised you. Of course you're happy. Maybe you purposely told her to say this behind our backs to make us lose face. We're not as beautiful as you, but there's no need to humiliate people like this. I didn't call her. Lu Qingmei denied. Who knows? Anyway, we can't see. The few people said. Seeing this, the man in the trench coat quickly tried to smooth things over. He advised, everyone calm down. We're all colleagues in the same company. We'll see each other often. Everyone should be united and friendly. A woman smiled charmingly and said, President Qin, we're not stirring up trouble. Everyone knows that colleagues should help each other. That's why we organized this gathering. Who would have thought that Lu Qingmei would call a child to say such hurtful words? I already said that I didn't teach her to say this. Lu Qingmei corrected her again. If you didn't teach her, then it must be your little boyfriend who taught her. The other party did not give up. Lu Qingmei's face was as cold as ice. Tang Jing grabbed her hand and signaled with his eyes that she did not need to be angry. He said, the child said a big truth and you're about to jump up like this. It seems that she really poked at your sore spot. What did you say? The several women immediately stood up. They were like tigresses that were about to flip out. Tang Jing faintly smiled. Did I say anything wrong? You guys really aren't as pretty as Qingmei. Can't people say that? Could it be that you guys think that she's easy to bully? That's where you're wrong. I hate it when people bully my girlfriend. The atmosphere suddenly became heavy. The several women were so angry that their faces turned red. They disdainfully said, Brat, who do you think you are? You dare to boast so shamelessly? I don't think I'm anyone, but you're even less so. Don't be so shameless. We're all colleagues. Is there a need for you guys to gang up on Qingmei like this? Our business is none of your business. Our President Qin didn't even say anything. Since when did a brat like you have the right to say such things? The several women were aggressive. The man in the trench coat, President Qin, looked deeply at Tang Zheng and advised, "Everyone, don't say too much. We came out to play for fun. Why get angry? Come everyone, let's toast and forget about our enmity with a smile." "Who does he think he is? He and I can forget about our enmity with a smile. He's not worthy," one of the tall women disdainfully said. Just now it was this tall woman who spoke. It was clear that she was the core of these women. In fact, she was not bad looking. She could be considered a common beauty. She used to be the flower of the office, but ever since Lu Qingmei entered the company, her edge had been completely suppressed. Her light became dimmer and dimmer. That was why she organized this gathering. She hoped that she could take advantage of the large number of people to humiliate Lu Qingmei and attack the other party. Chapter 446. When Tang Jing heard this, his face wasn't as cold as ice. Instead, he laughed mockingly. His opponent was too weak and he had no interest in being entangled with her. However, he couldn't ignore her. This kind of woman needed to be taught a lesson. The weaker you were, the more energetic she would be. In the future, it would be harder for Lu Qingmei to survive in the company. "Tang Jing, let's go. Ignore her." Lu Qingmei frowned and said unhappily, "Hey, why are you in such a hurry to leave? If you can't win in an argument, are you still a man?" The tall woman clamored as if she had taken stimulants. Tang Zheng patted the back of Lu Qingmei's hand, indicating for her to calm down. "Wait a moment. If this matter isn't resolved, no one can be at ease." Lu Qingmei knew his strength and advised, "There's no need to lower yourself to her level." The tall woman immediately jumped up when she heard this, thinking that the other party was looking down on her. She angrily said, "Who do you think you are? Why don't you lower yourself to my level? Today I'll show you my power." Just as she finished speaking, a few burly fellows walked over and roared, "Yao Yao, who made you angry?" The tall woman beamed with joy when she heard this. She pointed at Tang Zheng and shrieked, "Brother Meng, it's this brat. He actually looks down on me. Oh, there are still people who look down on my Yao Yao and my territory. Hee hee, you must be tired of living." While they were talking, a few strong men had already surrounded the entrance to the booth and were eyeing them like tigers eyeing their prey. The people in the booth were frightened and looked at them in alarm. Chief Chen smiled and said, "Everyone, this is just a joke. Please don't mind it." The tall woman said arrogantly, "Brother Meng, this is our company's Chief Chen. He's my boss." Brother Meng had a shaved head like a 100-watt light bulb. His face was fierce and there were tattoos on his neck. Brother Meng nodded at Chief Chen and said with a fake smile, "Chief Chen, Yao Yao is working under you, so you have to take care of her. If anyone dares to bully her and make her unhappy, then I will also make that person unhappy. Do you understand?" Director Chen smiled awkwardly and hurriedly nodded in agreement. In an instant, many people in the booth looked at the tall woman in horror. Some even smiled at her. Many people were glad that they didn't offend her. It turned out that she had a background in the underworld. The tall woman raised her nose to the sky and said arrogantly, "President Qin is usually very good to me. It's just that some people are blind." As he spoke, he deliberately glanced at Lu Qingmei, not concealing the smugness in his eyes. Meng Ren's face darkened as he asked, "Which idiot is it? I'll teach him a lesson." His gaze turned and immediately locked onto Tang Zheng and Lu Qingmei. Especially when he saw Lu Qingmei, his eyes flashed with intense lust. Hee hee, there's still a beauty here. Could it be that this beauty made Yao Yao unhappy? Meng Ren licked his lips and said with a fake smile, "Brother Meng, this beauty is already taken. Look at the little brat beside her. He's her boyfriend." The tall woman curled her lips and said. Brother Meng laughed strangely, "Beauty, this little brat's hair isn't even fully grown yet. What's so good about him? A mature man like Brother Meng is more interesting. Try it once and I guarantee that you'll have an endless aftertaste." Hearing these unbearable words, Lu Qingmei's cheeks flushed red. She said fiercely, "Please show some respect." Brother Meng shook his head and smiled mischievously, "I'm very respectful." Slap. Without any warning, Lu Qingmei raised her hand and slapped Brother Meng's face. The slap was incomparably loud and clear. It was like a clap of thunder in everyone's ears. Everyone was stunned and looked at Lu Qingmei in disbelief. No one had expected that she would make a move. Lu Qingmei was really too angry. If this could be tolerated, what else could be tolerated? *CK stinking woman. You dare hit me? I'm going to deal with you today. Brother Meng reacted. His face was burning with pain and his face was flushed red. He raised his hand and wanted to grab Lu Qingmei. However, another hand suddenly blocked in front of him. It was as if he had hit a hard rock and he staggered back. What was going on? Before he could react, he saw Tang Jing standing in front of Lu Qingmei. He only saw Tang Jing winking at Lu Qingmei and praising, "Good hit." Lu Qingmei embarrassedly said, "It's all because his words were too unpleasant. That's why I hit him in anger." At this moment, her shyness and her valiance formed a strong contrast, but it made people even more excited. A beauty with a personality was more likable than a beauty with a soft and delicate appearance. The eyes of the several men present lit up as they stared at Lu Qingmei. "This kind of person is asking for a beating," Tang Jing lightly said. His words were so shocking that the others subconsciously wrinkled their brows. They thought that they were in big trouble this time. Brother Meng seemed to have awoken from a dream as he angrily roared, "F***, brat, today I'll take care of you as well. Your girl is mine. Go." The several strong men were like tanks as they rushed towards Tang Jing. These people were the people in charge of the bar. They had a few tricks up their sleeves. It was easy for them to deal with ordinary people. The other people's faces instantly turned pale. A few timid people hid in the corner. That Chief Chen also subconsciously shrank back. He did not dare to stand up and speak up. Lu Qingmei did not move at all. It was as if she did not see the other side rushing over. Nana continuously waved her arms and shouted, "Big brother, hit the bad guy, hit the bad guy." Tang Jing rubbed her little head and said, "Then Nana, close your eyes." Nana shook her head, "No way, I want to see Big brother hit the bad guy. Big brother is a hero." "Alright then, watch carefully." Tang Jing's movements were very slow. It was as if he really wanted her to see clearly. He gently punched out as if it was in slow motion. However, the opponent had no way to dodge. She felt a pain in her ear. Her body flew out of the booth and smashed into a table outside. Following the same pattern, the other people also flew out like cannonballs, causing screams to ring out in the bar hall. The few people who originally thought that Tang Jing would be beaten to the point of lying on the ground begging for mercy revealed an expression of disbelief. What was going on? Why was the one who flew out the courage while Tang Jing was safe and sound? Brother Meng was a person with good eyesight. His pupils suddenly shrank. He secretly cursed and quickly retreated. He shouted, "Brat, don't go. Brother Meng will deal with you later." But before he could take 2 steps, he found that his body could not move. He shouted as if he had seen a ghost, "What did you do to me? Let me go." This was because Tang Jing had used the body-locking technique. For such a small character, it was impossible to arouse his interest in making a big fuss. The others saw that Brother Meng kept shouting but his body could not move. Each and every one of their expressions was very strange. It was as if they had seen a ghost. However, they did not dare to move. They only stared at Tang Jing. "Nana, you see this big bad guy can't move. What do you think we should do?" Tang Jing calmly asked. Nana pinched her small chin and thought for a moment. Then she said, "Beat him." "Ah, good. Beat him. Nana, come. You punch him." Tang Jing said earnestly. "Can I really hit him?" The little girl was restless. "Of course. Nana is very powerful. If you don't believe me, you can try." Tang Jing grabbed Nana's small hand and punched Brother Meng's chest. Bang. It was as if Brother Meng was hit by a heavy hammer. He cried out miserably and flew out. He only stopped after hitting 7 or 8 tables. Nana looked at her small fist in disbelief. She cheered and said, "Wow, Nana is so powerful. Nana is so happy." Tang Jing revealed a kind smile and said, "Nana will be even more powerful in the future." This time, one of the main tasks of returning to the capital was to teach Nana the ways of cultivation. This was something that Mu Hongyan had asked him to do before. He had never carried it out. Now was the right time. Using this matter to let Nana have a direct impression of power. The little girl was clearly very excited about power. Her small eyes were shining. Being born in a large family like the Long family, she was influenced by what she saw and heard. Thus, teaching her the ways of cultivation was a natural thing. This punch was of course not the ability of her small fist. It was Tang Jing's strength that sent the other party flying. But the others did not understand. They all opened their eyes wide and looked at Nana in shock. This was completely beyond their imagination. Tang Jing turned around and looked at the tall girl. The tall girl was so scared that her whole body trembled. She quickly hid in the booth and said timidly, What do you want to do? I'm telling you, don't act recklessly. I'm a woman. What kind of man is hitting a woman? I've never been gentle to bad women." Tang Jing smiled as he walked over and grabbed the tall girl's hair. Let go of me, let go of me." The tall girl turned pale with fright and screamed. She kept struggling but to no avail. When the others saw this, no one dared to stop him. That Chief Chin even took the opportunity to hide behind the others. Just now he looked down on Tang Jing. But now he no longer had the courage to stand up for him. Since you keep calling him Brother Meng so affectionately, then you should go accompany him. Tang Jing casually threw the tall woman out and she also flew out. Brother Meng struggled on the ground for a long time before finally getting up. But then he saw a person flying over and fiercely smashing into him. He could not help but scream and lay on the ground again. The tall girl turned pale with fright and screamed. Her hair was disheveled, but Tang Jing was merciful and did not hurt her. Tang Jing stared at the others and said, "Qing Mei is my girlfriend. I'm very protective of her. If someone dares to deliberately make things difficult for my girlfriend, I will be very angry. I guarantee that he will regret it." I wouldn't dare. Lu Qingmei works hard and is the focus of the company's training. That Chief Qin originally had some thoughts about Lu Qingmei, but at this moment he didn't have the slightest bit of thought. Although he had some power in the company, he obviously didn't have any confidence in front of Tang Jing. Very good. Tang Jing nodded approvingly. He pulled Qingmei and said, "Qingmei, let's go home." Lu Qingmei seemed to wake up from a dream. She walked out of the booth with a sweet smile on her face and walked towards the door. Chapter 447. When this roar sounded, everyone subconsciously stopped what they were doing and looked towards the door. They saw 20 or so fierce people rushing in, and the person in the lead had a scar that ran from the left side of his face to the right. It was especially ferocious and terrifying. Brother Scar is here. This kid is going to suffer a big loss. Yeah, he dares to cause trouble in Brother Scar's place. He must have eaten a leopard's guts. Some people whispered, but no one walked away. Instead, they opened their eyes wide and prepared to watch a good show. The several colleagues in the booth also seemed to have suddenly drunk stimulants. They came back to their senses and leaned over the booth to watch attentively. "Brother Scar, you finally came. This kid came to cause trouble." Brother Meng pushed the almost scared out of her wits to the side. He climbed up and fiercely shouted. Scarface's eyes were small but very bright, like the eyes of an eagle. He stared at Tang Jing and coldly said, "Kid, you really have guts. You actually dare to cause trouble in my place. Who sent you?" Tang Jing acted as if there was no one around and held Lu Qingmei's hand as they walked towards the door. He said, "No one has the qualifications to send me." "Oh, you're quite tight-lipped. Did Blackie send you here?" Scarface questioned. "I don't know any hazy. A good dog doesn't block the way. Get out of the way." Tang Jing expressionlessly said, "You dare to call me a dog? Brother Scar will cut you today." Scarface flew up and directly swept towards Tang Jing's head. This kick was fast and ruthless. It was the essence of leg techniques. Moreover, it was Scarface's tried and tested killing move. Seeing that the leg was about to hit Tang Jing also flew up and kicked. Fast as thunder, the momentum was like a swan. It directly hit Scarface's leg. Bang! Scarface flew out and just happened to crash into the booth where Chief Chen and the others were sitting. The group of people were shocked and screamed, "Deal with him." When the other henchmen saw this, they clamored and pulled out the machetes they always carried with them, and started to attack Tang Jing. Tang Jing's eyes turned cold as he used one hand to cover Nanan's eyes while the other hand smoothly snatched a machete. Shwa shwa shwa, the machete's afterimages flew out as a cold light flashed. Pitiful cries rose and fell one after another. Not long after, more than 20 people fell into a pool of blood, groaning and screaming. The others retreated, looking at Tang Jing as if they had seen a ghost. Seeing Tang Jing's gaze sweep over, many people subconsciously lowered their heads, not daring to look at Tang Jing. When Brother Meng saw Tang Jing looking over, his throat went dry. He was so scared that his legs went soft and he lay on the ground again. He didn't dare to say another word. "Let's go." Tang Jing and the others swaggered out of the bar under the watchful eyes of the crowd. No one dared to stop them. Tang Jing let go of his hand. Nana pouted and said, "Brother, did you just beat up those bad guys?" "Of course." Tang Jing grinned. "Wow, that's great. Brother, I want to be as powerful as you when I grow up." Nana waved her small fist and said eagerly, "Oh, then how about I teach you?" Tang Jing took the opportunity to say. Nana hurriedly nodded. "Okay, Nana wants to be strong and become a superwoman." "Haha, good, Nana will definitely become more powerful than a superwoman." Tang Jing tenderly stroked Nana's head. They returned to Lu Qingmei's residence. "How was your trip to Dianan? Why did it take so long?" After comforting Nana to sleep, Lu Qingmei couldn't help but ask. "There was a little accident. My identity as a cultivator was exposed," Tang Jing said. Then what should we do?" Lu Qingmei's face suddenly changed. She already understood what this meant. Tang Jing put his arm around her shoulder and comforted her. Don't worry so much. There's nothing to be afraid of. Moreover, my strength has increased a lot. It's not so easy for the average person to kill me. Seeing that he was full of confidence, Lu Qingmei was a little relieved, but did not forget to remind him. You must pay attention to your safety in the future. Your new job doesn't seem to be going well. Tang Jing changed the subject. Lu Qingmei sighed and said, in fact, it's not bad at work. It's just that it's so unpleasant tonight. If you're not happy, just change your job. Don't force yourself. Tang Jing didn't want to dare her too much. She was an independent person. She should have her own life and circle. Tang Jing didn't intend to tell her what to do. I know. Anyway, I'm very happy right now. I'll see you later. Lu Qingmei said indifferently. Tang Jing nodded. After tonight's incident, naturally no one would have any bad ideas about her or secretly make things difficult for her. After all, they had to weigh the pros and cons. I've been gone for so long. Did you miss me? Tang Jing turned over and pressed her down. He sniffed the fragrance of her neck and softly asked. Lu Qingmei heard this and her heart moved. Her body began to soften as she whispered. I didn't miss you. I've been gone for so long without any news. Is it because there's a beauty in Dianan that you forgot about home? Tang Jing's mind was filled with thoughts of martial arts. However, he didn't bat an eyelid and flatly denied it. There's no beauty as attractive as you, Teacher Lu. You're not allowed to call me teacher. Lu Qingmei's heartstrings trembled. When she heard the word teacher, there was a strange feeling that touched her heart. Teacher Lu is shy? Tang Jing's finger lightly brushed across her body. He felt her body temperature gradually rise and slightly trembled. Don't. Lu Qingmei stopped him. Teacher Lu, let's have a health class. Tang Jing strangely laughed and moved. The room suddenly became as warm as spring. The next day, Tang Jing woke up early in the morning and made breakfast. The three people ate breakfast together. He brought Nana and Xiaobai to school. After many days of separation, the school was still brimming with a youthful atmosphere. Even the cold winter was unable to disperse this atmosphere. Before he left, he was still a famous person in school. Wherever he went, he would attract the gazes of many people. However, after so many days of silence, everyone returned to their calm state. Although there were still people looking at him, they weren't as hot as before. He was familiar with the way and avoided the dormitory manager's detection range. He brought Nana to the dormitory. However, he discovered that the three people were still hiding under the blankets. He couldn't help but mischievously yell. The instructor is here. As soon as he said this, the three people sat up as if it was a conditioned reflex. Sinosaurus even directly stood up and hit the ceiling with a bang. Sinosaurus rubbed his head and jumped around in pain on the bed. He angrily said, "Which bastard is randomly yelling so early in the morning? Are you trying to kill me without paying with your life?" Before he finished speaking, he stared straight at Tang Jing and cried out in alarm. "Old 3 is back. Old 3 is back." With a ping sound, he jumped down from the bed. His movements were incomparably agile as he pounced towards Tang Jing like a big black bear. Wang Shiji and Zhou Yan also got up and looked at Tang Jing in disbelief. They quickly climbed down the stairs and rushed up to hug Tang Jing. "Hey, stop right there." Nan was a mischievous child, so she shouted at the top of her lungs. The three of them seemed to have activated the brakes and stopped dangerously in front of Tang Jing. Sinosaurus smiled and said, "Little beauty Nana, why are you here?" When Tang Jing brought Nana to school, he was already familiar with the brothers in the dormitory. Nana put her hands on her hips and said seriously, "Of course I'm here to study. If you are all lazy people. I got up early but you are still in bed." The three of them were speechless and their faces flushed red. Wang Shiji mumbled and explained, "We don't have any classes in the morning. Let's not talk about this for now. Old 3 is back, we need to celebrate. Old 3 must have suffered a lot outside during this period of time. Look at how dark his face is. Second brother, your observation is really meticulous. Could it be that a day without seeing each other is like 3 autumns? You want to be gay with old 3, right?" Zhou Yan teased. Sinosaurus's face hardened and said, "I am a straight man, moreover I already have Lu Xian, how could I fall in love with someone else? I am a dedicated man." Tang Jing's eyes lit up and teased, "Yo, second brother, your progress is quite fast. You took down Lu Xian so quickly?" Back then, during the dormitory friendship of 502 in Yi Ding Dang, Sinosaurus had already taken a fancy to Lu Xian. Who would have thought that during the period of time when Tang Jing was away, the two of them would actually achieve a positive result? Sinosaurus scratched his head and said, "Of course, don't you see who I am? Although I'm not as popular as third brother, I'm still the second most popular person in our dormitory. Fourth brother was chased by Li Fangfei, and Lu Xian was chased by you. As for third brother, you're even less of a match for him. Who knows how many beauties he has? Wang Shiji mercilessly took over his bottom line. Sinosaurus was not angry and said embarrassedly, "Boss, you don't have a goal yet. I'm someone who has already gained something, you don't have the qualifications to laugh at me. I plan to study hard in university and then find a good job after graduation. I don't want to waste my time in a relationship." Wang Shiji said seriously, "Moreover, the cost of a relationship is so high, I can't afford it. TSK, you can spend less money in a relationship. Whenever you like a girl, our dormitory will mobilize everyone to help you take her down." Sinosaurus patted his chest and said. Tang Jing laughed and looked at Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's family background was not ordinary, and even until now, Tang Jing still had not figured out his background, but Li Fangfei's eyes were fiery gold and actually chased after him. However, it seemed that Li Fangfei did not succeed. "3, where have you been all this time? Professor Qi also came back, but you disappeared without a trace. We went to ask him, but he stammered. We thought something bad had happened." Zhou Yan asked with concern. "I'm fine. I was just delayed by some things. Is Professor Qi all right?" "Sai, let's not talk about it anymore. When Professor Qi came back, it was as if he had changed into a different person. Furthermore, his classes are being replaced by other teachers. I wonder what he's busy with right now." "Right now, this teacher's lecture is not interesting at all. It's far worse than Professor Qi's," Sinosaurus muttered. Wang Shiji nodded in agreement with a serious expression. Chapter 448. Tang Jing asked his roommates to take care of Nana. Then he went to look for Xuanhuan. Fortunately, Xuanhuan was still sane. Otherwise, Tang Jing would feel guilty. However, Xuanhuan looked at Tang Jing strangely. At first it was joy. Then it was surprise. He looked around nervously as if he was afraid of something. "Professor Qi, why are you so careful?" Tang Jing asked with a smile that was not a smile. Xuanhuan patted his chest and said with lingering fear, "I thought you wouldn't come back. You don't know that after we came back, everyone was quarantined and interrogated. They were only released after a few days." Tang Jing nodded and said, "What a big fuss. It seems that the 100,000 Hills incident is very important." "Of course it's important. This is the biggest discovery in the archaeological world. Of course it's beyond our abilities." Xuanhuan looked gloomy. "All the so-called big discoveries in the archaeological world over the years are nothing compared to this one. This has overturned traditional knowledge." "Haha, it's because you've overturned tradition that the higher-ups put you under strict scrutiny and gave you a gag order, right?" Tang Jing said calmly. "How did you know?" "I guessed." "That's an accurate guess. The higher-ups are afraid that I'll spill the beans, so they don't let me attend classes. Instead, they let me focus on my research. Actually, this is good. This is a big discovery. It's enough for me to study for many years," Xuanhuan said. Tang Jing frowned slightly. "So it's the higher-ups' order that you don't attend classes?" "Yes. In order to avoid contact with too many people, I even suspected that I was being watched for a while. But it seems that I'm too sensitive." Xuanhuan smiled sheepishly. Tang Jing could not bring himself to smile. Obviously, his suspicions were true. The officials took this matter so seriously that they would really keep an eye on the archaeological team. However, it was obvious that they strictly obeyed the order and did not tell anyone about what happened in the 100,000 Hills. That was why the surveillance was lifted. "By the way, why did you come out? I thought you'd be in danger." Tang Jing said, "Of course there was danger, but I was lucky enough to escape with my life." Xuanhuan patted Tang Jing's shoulder and lamented, "It's good that you're alive. At that time, I really thought that I was going to die in the 100,000 mountains. I don't care about my old bones, but it's a pity that you died at such a young age." Tang Jing grinned. "I won't die so easily. You didn't meet anyone from the government when you left the 100,000 mountains? From the looks of it, they won't sit idly by and do nothing, right?" Tang Jing gave him a thumbs up and praised, "Professor Qi's foresight is amazing. Of course I met them, but they can't do anything to me for the time being, so I guess I'm safe." Xuanhuan sucked in a breath of cold air and sighed. "Oh, when I first met you, I really didn't expect you to be so extraordinary. You can actually reach a balance with the government. However, I still want to remind you that there are no eternal enemies, only eternal interests. To the government, you're still an unstable factor. They won't sit idly by and do nothing. You have to be careful." Tang Jing was very touched. He said, "Thank you for your concern, Professor Qi. I understand. Tang Jing already had a plan. As long as he and the Wu tribe quickly became stronger, the government would naturally be more afraid of them and would not dare to act rashly. This was a kind of deterrence just like nuclear weapons. The nuclear powers would not really attack anyone with nuclear weapons, but they would send a message to the world that they had such a powerful weapon. Therefore they would be confident in their words and not dare to do anything to them. Otherwise they would fight to the death and no one would have an easy time. Since Tang Jing had achieved this level of deterrence, he could rest easy for the time being. Professor Qi, I need to trouble you with something. Tang Jing said, I want to study the information related to the ancient Emperor Qi Yu and the Battle of Zhuolu. Qi Xiaowen smiled proudly. His eyes narrowed into slits. He said, I knew you would want to know these things, so I've already started to study them. Tang Jing was overjoyed. Qi Xiaowen's knowledge in archaeology was much deeper than Tang Jing's. With his research, Tang Jing would definitely be able to find out the truth about the ancient era. Professor Qi, have you heard of the term, stairway to heaven in your research materials? Tang Jing asked as an idea came to him. The stairway to heaven was of great importance. Tang Jing already had 30 pieces. He was eager to know the whereabouts of the other dozens of pieces. Although Tang Jing had not decided whether or not to bring the cultivators back from the skies beyond, at least there was this possibility now. He had to control this possibility in his own hands, otherwise, if it fell into the hands of someone with evil intentions, then the world would really be in chaos. Stairway to heaven? Qi Xiaowen scratched his white hair and fell into deep thought. Suddenly he rushed to a bookcase next to him. There were many large books on it. Many of them were books that Tang Jing had never heard of before. They were obviously professional books. Qi Xiaowen pulled out a thick book from the pile and quickly flipped it open. Tang Jing found that this was not a complete book, but a book made up of many sheets of paper glued together in a messy manner. These sheets of paper were very ancient. They were obviously ancient books. Qi Xiaowen carefully flipped through them. Suddenly he stopped. His eyes lit up and fixed on a piece of paper. Tang Jing hurriedly went over and saw that he was staring at a piece of paper. No, it was not a piece of paper. It was a piece of animal skin. There was a picture on it. The top of the picture was surrounded by clouds and mist. It was like a fairyland, but there were steps extending from the clouds. They extended straight down and landed on a snow-covered mountain. Mount Buzhou. Tang Jing could not help but exclaim. This mountain was too familiar. Wasn't it the Mount Buzhou in the depths of the prehistoric heavenly tomb? You know this mountain? Qi Xiaowen was shocked. Tang Jing nodded. Yes, this mountain is called Mount Buzhou. According to the picture, this mountain towered into the clouds as if it was connected to the sky. How tall is that? Qi Xiaowen exclaimed. Tang Jing recalled the scene of Mount Buzhou. Although Mount Buzhou was very tall, it was far from reaching the clouds. It was a little different from the picture. However, Mount Buzhou was too mysterious. There were also mysterious restrictions. He could not judge it according to common sense. This is the stairway to heaven. Tang Jing pointed at the steps and said firmly. He did not expect that there were written records about Mount Buzhou and the stairway to heaven. However, it made sense. In ancient times, Mount Buzhou and the stairway to heaven were not a secret. It was only after the 100-Change Star Lord destroyed the stairway to heaven that the attention on Mount Buzhou declined. After that, it disappeared completely from people's sight. In ancient times, there must have been records about Mount Buzhou and the stairway to heaven. However, most of them should have disappeared in the long river of time. Fortunately, this piece of beast skin was left behind. I accidentally found this when I was flipping through ancient books. I did not know the information in it, so I just collected it. When you mentioned the stairway to heaven just now, I thought of this picture in a flash of inspiration. I didn't expect to get it right. Qi Xiaowen's face was flushed red. He was even more excited than Tang Jing. Tang Jing, why are you looking for the stairway to heaven? Qi Xiaowen asked curiously. It's very useful. Tang Jing did not say it out loud. After all, this was a very important matter. It might not be a good thing to tell him. Instead, it might harm him. This stairway to heaven has been destroyed. However, the cornerstones of the stairway to heaven are called black stones of heaven and earth. They are scattered all over the world. I want to find these black stones of heaven and earth now. Black stones of heaven and earth? The stairway to heaven is made of black stones of heaven and earth? Qi Xiaowen was very surprised. Tang Jing was even more surprised. It was impossible for ordinary people to know about the black stones of heaven and earth. Even Tian Chanzi had never heard of it. It was very strange that Qi Xiaowen knew about it. Qi Xiaowen could not wait to say, I've seen the words black stones of heaven and earth in an ancient book. Tang Jing slapped his head. Xianhuan was very knowledgeable. He was like a human computer. He had memorized so much obscure knowledge. In fact, archaeology required a lot of complicated knowledge. It included astronomy, geography, history, and many other aspects. Of course, Xianhuan knew a lot of things. This is a book that introduces the majestic imperial city in the capital city. It introduces the black stones of heaven and earth. It is said that the black stones of heaven and earth are stones that are born from the essence of heaven and earth. They are spiritual and have many magical effects. This was a new piece of information. Tang Jing listened with great interest. When this majestic imperial city was built, many mysterious things happened. It is said that every time a palace was about to be completed, it would collapse for no reason. Many people died. The emperor was furious. He ordered his officials to solve this problem. Later he found several pieces of black stones of heaven and earth and buried them underground. After the palace was completed, it never collapsed again. It was really strange. The ancient book did not mention the specific reason. When I first read about it, I thought it was deliberately mystifying. I thought it was impossible for such a miraculous thing to happen. Now that I think about it, it is very likely to be true. Tang Jing was overjoyed. At the same time, he also understood something. When the imperial city was built, it was to imprison the five-clawed golden dragon. Every time a palace was about to be completed, the five-clawed golden dragon must have been resisting and destroyed the palace. Later on, someone found a heaven and earth spirit stone and buried it in the ground. It merged with the imperial city's original spirit array and strengthened the effect of the array. That was how the five-clawed golden dragon was suppressed. The five-clawed golden dragon had never mentioned anything about the black stones of heaven and earth. He wondered if it knew anything about them. Tang Jing, is this information useful to you? Xianhuan asked. Tang Jing seemed to have woken up from a dream. He shouted, "Yes, it's very useful. Professor Qi, thank you." Tang Jing hugged Xianhuan. Xianhuan was extremely embarrassed. He patted Chu Li's shoulder and said, "I'm also very happy that this information is useful to you." Tang Jing reluctantly let go. He said, "Professor Qi, I wonder if you can continue to collect information about this in the future?" Xianhuan said without hesitation, "Of course you can. Although I don't know what you'll do with it, I know that you won't do anything bad with it. I trust you." Tang Jing promised seriously, "Professor Qi, don't worry. I won't do anything bad with the black stones of heaven and earth. I'll take my leave now." Chapter 449. It was not convenient to go to the imperial city to find the five-clawed golden dragon during the day, so he could only wait until night time. In addition, 502 had prepared a welcoming dinner for him, so he had no choice but to attend. The location of this gathering was not far from the school. When Tang Jing arrived, the others had already arrived. They even brought their companions, which were Yi Dingdang's dormitory members. Seeing Tang Jing enter, Yi Dingdang was the first to stand up, revealing a brilliant smile and greeted, "You're here. Beauty Yi has been waiting for a long time. Hurry up and sit next to Beauty Yi." Sinosaurus pressed Tang Jing to the seat beside Yi Dingdang. The others looked at them with smiles. Yi Dingdang did not refuse and instead accepted it graciously. "Tang Jing, I heard that you went to archaeology recently. Was it fun?" Hao Dan tilted his head and asked mischievously. Hao Dan and Feng Yong had already become a pair, but Feng Yong was in class today and did not have time to come over. Hao Dan had heard a lot about Tang Jing's deeds from Feng Yong, and was quite curious about him and even a little bit worshipped him. "It's not fun." Tang Jing shook his head. This time it could be said to be a narrow escape and it was not fun at all. "How can it not be fun? Don't all archaeologists go to ancient tombs or famous mountains and rivers? At least it's more fun than staying in school." Hao Dan said in disbelief. "Archaeology is not only fun, there are also unknown dangers." "How could that be?" Hao Dan rolled his eyes and had an idea. "Could it be that it's like the legends, you guys went to an ancient tomb and then met a zombie?" Tang Jing was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but laugh. "Your imagination is really too rich, it's a waste not to write a novel. You actually found this advantage of mine. I've always wanted to be a literary and artistic young woman." Hao Dan boasted. The others were also amused by her cute appearance and laughed. Li Fangfei looked at Tang Jing with a complicated gaze. In the past, he thought that the person with the deepest foundation in 502 was Zhou Yan, so he did not hesitate to dive into pursuing Zhou Yan's career. Later on, he discovered that Tang Jing was actually a piece of unpolished jade. He looked ordinary and mediocre, but he contained a wealth of treasures. Even though Li Fangfei prided herself as an outstanding treasure hunter, she truly had no way of exploring Tang Jing's treasure. Tang Jing's style of disappearing for dozens of days was not her type. However, seeing Yi Dingdang diving headfirst into Tang Jing's big net, Li Fangfei was really shocked. Li Fangfei could already confirm that Yi Dingdang came from a big family with a prominent background, but she was deeply in love with Tang Jing, which made her extremely puzzled. However, Li Fangfei did not dare to underestimate Tang Jing in the slightest. Just the limelight of the martial arts assembly alone had overshadowed most of the students. Furthermore, she could not see through Tang Jing in the slightest. Lu Xian leaned on Sinosaurus's side like a little bird, looking at the few of them with a smile. She was originally a person of few words, but now that she was conquered by Sinosaurus, she seemed to have become even less talkative and became a little woman. Alright everyone, don't just talk about me. While I was gone, a lot of things happened between you guys. I hate each and every one of you as a pair. Tang Jing said with a smile. Could it be that only you are allowed to set the fire and we are not allowed to light the lamp? This is called charm, do you know? Sinosaurus laughed and boasted. You still dare to talk about charm? If you didn't pester us, would you be able to chase after our Lu Xian? Li Fangfei teased. Lu Xian was moved by my sincerity. What do you mean by pester us? You don't know anything about romance. Sinosaurus retorted righteously. Lu Xian rolled her eyes and pouted. You're just pestering us and you don't allow others to talk about it. Sinosaurus chuckled and added, hee hee, if you say so, then so be it. I'll listen to you. Yo, you're already following your wife's tune so quickly. Second bro, I think you'll definitely be a henpecked husband in the future. Wang Shiji teased. Sinosaurus replied disapprovingly, what henpecked husband? This is called being lovey-dovey. A bachelor like you won't understand. Tang Jing waved his hand and said, alright, there are children here. You guys don't have to be lovey-dovey. Let's eat and drink. That's right, Nana is hungry. Let's eat. Nana held onto her stomach and stared at the table full of dishes with her eyes shining. Let's eat. The atmosphere warmed up and they toasted each other. Sinosaurus told a few jokes, and the atmosphere at the table became more lively. Did they make things difficult for you when I left yesterday? Tang Jing whispered to Yi Dingdang. No, I ignored their words. What's the use of making things difficult for me? Yi Dingdang said indifferently. I didn't have time to say it yesterday. I found that Yi Tianming came with ill intentions. He seemed to have bad intentions towards your family. Tang Jing reminded. Yi Dingdang curled her lips and said, everyone knows Sima Zhao's intentions. It's not that easy for him to deal with our family. Don't think that so many people are standing on his side. Not all of them are dead set on him. Those people are fence-sitters. Oh, that is to say, as long as your father sits firmly on the throne of the Ye family, those people will naturally side with your father? Of course, but I'm not interested in those people. It doesn't matter if there's one more or one less. Tang Jing pondered for a moment and said, remind your father to be careful. He is too honest, but Yi Tianming is not. Be careful of his dirty tricks and deepen Yi Xuanji's prejudice against your father. If that happens, the position of the patriarch may be taken away. Although I don't know why your father was expelled from the Ye family, I'm guessing that it has something to do with Yi Tianming. Yi Dingdang raised her eyebrows and said, I'll tell him. But with my temper, there's no point in staying in the Ye family. It's best to just leave. Tang Jing shook his head. That won't do. That will make things easy for Yi Tianming. I think Yi Xuanji wants your father to compete with Yi Tianming. It's still unknown who will be in charge of the Ye family in the future. At this crucial moment, we can't relax and give the other party a chance. Yi Dingdang glared at him and said, you men are all obsessed with power. Tang Jing smiled embarrassedly. Even if we don't like it, we can't let the enemy take advantage of it. Moreover, your father is a member of the Ye family. If he is in charge of the Ye family, it will be a good thing. Alright, I can't win against you. Hey, what are the two of you whispering about? Let's go home and whisper under the covers. How Dan saw that the two people's heads were almost close together, and she couldn't help but make fun of them. You and Feng Yong are the ones who are whispering under the covers. Yi Dingdang's face flushed red. Tang Jing coughed and changed the topic. We're done eating. Let's go home. If you want to get a room, go get one. I won't disturb you. Wow, you're talking about yourself, right? The two of you can't wait to get under the covers? Li Fangfei stared at Tang Jing and Yi Dingdang and chuckled. I'm going back to the dormitory. When the lights are off, I'll see who's not back. Then I'll know who went out to get a room. Yi Dingdang countered. It can't be. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Are the two of you really not going out tonight? Nana finally finished the food in her bowl. She raised her head and said seriously, Brother, let's go back. Otherwise, Sister Lu will definitely be waiting anxiously. Sister Lu? Who's Sister Lu? Suddenly, everyone quietened down and stared at Tang Jing. Even Yi Dingdang could not help but widen her eyes. Tang Jing knew that something was wrong. This lass was going to expose him if she did not choose her words carefully. He hurriedly said, "The kids are just playing. Since everyone is done eating, let's go. Dingdang, Nana and I will make a move first." After he finished speaking, he pulled Nana and left the restaurant as if he was escaping. "Brother, why are you leaving? Where's all the delicious food?" Nana innocently stared at him and asked. Tang Jing did not know whether to laugh or cry. This little girl almost got into big trouble. So, he seriously said, "Nana, brother will make a promise with you, okay? Okay, come, let's make a pinky promise. We won't change our promise for 100 years. Nana excitedly clapped her hands. "In the future, don't mention Sister Lu's matters to outsiders," Tang Jing seriously said. "Why? When you grow up, you'll understand adult matters." Tang Jing patted her little head and said. Nana did not understand and asked, "Could it be that I can't tell Sister Dingdang? Of course, I know that Nana is the best at keeping secrets. This is our secret." Nana happily clapped her hands and said, "Okay, Nana promises brother that Nana will definitely keep it a secret. Then let's go home. That's him. Chop him to death." Suddenly, an angry roar rang out and a large group of people surged over. At this moment, the few people in the restaurant also dispersed. No one went to get a room, but a few girls gathered together and started chattering. "Dingdang, who is that Sister Lu?" Li Fangfei asked. Yi Dingdang blankly shook her head. She really did not know who this person was. No matter how smart she was, she would not have thought that this person was her high school class teacher, Lu Qingmei. "There's a situation," Hao Dan said resolutely. Lu Xian also nodded her head seriously. Yi Dingdang panicked. Could it be that there was really a situation? She knew about Tang Zheng and Fang Shishir. Could it be that there was another person? Maybe it's just a kid playing around. Don't take it seriously. Yi Dingdang took a deep breath and suppressed the panic in her heart as she forced out a smile. Dingdang, don't force yourself to smile. Your expression has already betrayed your heart. Moreover, it's better to believe in this kind of thing than not to believe in it. Making preparations early is the best strategy. Li Fangfei warned with the appearance of an expert. Yi Dingdang's panic grew stronger and stronger. If you secretly follow him one day, he will definitely reveal a flaw. As long as you follow the clues, everything will come to light. Li Fangfei clenched her fists and waved her hands in the air as she said. Yes, a woman must fight for her own happiness. Hao Dan and Lu Xian agreed in unison. Tang Jing did not expect that because of Nana's unintentional words, he would reveal a huge flaw. However, at this moment, he did not have the mood to care about this matter. This was because he was facing a large group of people, and among them, there were even people holding guns and swaggering at him. Chapter 450. Brat, aren't you very arrogant? Try moving and your brother Scar will let you know the taste of a bullet today. Scarface flaunted his might as he coldly sneered. Tang Zheng looked at these dozens of people without batting an eyelid. Most of them had weapons in their hands, especially a few of them who were holding guns. The threat was not small. Are you born in the year of the dog? You actually found me. Tang Jing asked with a teasing smile. Fuck, you still dare to be arrogant? No one in the capital can escape from your brother Scar's eyes. Scarface proudly boasted. Sigh, this is the first time I've seen someone who can't wait to die. Tang Jing shook his head and sighed. Courting death? I think you're the one who's at death's door and still boasting shamelessly. Open fire and get rid of him. Scarface had been running rampant in the capital for many years, but he had never met someone who dared to not put him in his eyes. He couldn't help being furious and didn't hesitate to use his gun to get rid of Tang Jing as an example. Nana, sleep for a while. Tang Jing's finger pressed on Nana's neck. Nana's eyes slightly closed and she quickly fell asleep. Now we can make our move. Tang Jing's lips curled into a smile, but it was like a devil's smile that made people shudder. Scarface's heart trembled as he suddenly had an ominous premonition. He immediately shouted, Move! Bang! 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 The sound of gunfire crackled like firecrackers filling the air. Where did he go? Suddenly, everyone discovered that they had lost sight of their target. Tang Jing had disappeared. Scarface's heart suddenly felt a sense of danger. Before he could react, he found that his neck was already grabbed. Ah! Scarface screamed in fright, but his scream came to an abrupt end. His throat had already fallen into Tang Jing's grasp. Didn't you want to kill me? Who's going to kill who now? Tang Jing sneered. Don't kill me. A strong killing intent enveloped Scarface, and he turned pale with fright as he begged for mercy. Too late. Tang Jing softly spat out these two words. With a crack, the scarred man's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. His neck was completely broken, and his head tilted to one side and drooped down. He killed Brother Ba, someone exclaimed. The corners of Tang Jing's mouth curled up as he said, "He's courting his own death. If I don't kill him, he'll be buzzing around my ears like a fly. It's so noisy that it's annoying." Tang Jing did not have the energy to deal with these small fries. He might as well get rid of them in one go and save his energy to do other things. However, the others discovered his decisive side, especially his elusive skills, which made them tremble in fear. The henchmen next to him scattered in all directions. Tang Jing swept his eyes over the crowd and murderously said, "Whoever dares to disturb me again will end up like him." He loosened his grip and Scarface's corpse fell to the ground with a loud bang, deeply shocking their hearts. Tang Jing hugged Nana and left with large strides. The others looked at each other in dismay, but no one dared to stop him. The news of Scarface's death quickly spread. Brother Meng was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. After a brief moment of shock, his eyes lit up and he suddenly laughed wildly. "The heavens are helping me. I've been working under Brother Ba for so many years and I've never been able to rise up. Now that Brother Ba is dead, the territory and influence he left behind will be mine. But if I want to smoothly take over his business, then I must accomplish one thing, and that is to take revenge for Brother Ba. That brat isn't even afraid of guns. He's not an ordinary person. If I rush up, I'll only be delivering myself to him. I'm not that brat's opponent, but the person behind Brother Ba can definitely eliminate him." Thinking about the person behind Brother Ba, the light in Brother Meng's eyes burned even more fiercely. As Scarface's henchman, he understood Scarface's background. Scarface was able to stand tall in the capital for so many years and contend against his other big brother Hazy. What he relied on the most was not his subordinates or the guns in his hands. His biggest reliance was the Chu family. Scarface was a dog of the Chu family. Whatever the Chu family said he would do. It didn't matter if he killed Scarface, but this was touching the interests of the Chu family and going against the Chu family. The Chu family needed an agent, so they wouldn't brazenly let their own family members do this dirty work. Since Scarface was dead, then he, Brother Meng, was naturally the best candidate. Right now, the most important thing was to find the people from the Chu family. Brother Meng thought hard and finally slapped his head. He thought of a clever idea. The big shots of the Chu family were not easy to find, but the Chu family's child phone was very high profile. Brother Meng knew his whereabouts. Right now, Child Chu must be playing at Heavenly Fragrance and National Beauty. I have to go see him immediately. Brother Meng spent a lot of effort and felt that it was more difficult than a fierce battle. Finally, he met the Chu family's young master Chu Xiaofeng at Heavenly Fragrance and National Beauty. Heavenly Fragrance and National Beauty was the name of a clubhouse. This clubhouse was only targeted at high-end customers. Ever since the martial arts assembly, Chu Xiaofeng had been in a state of fear. He was deeply afraid that Tang Jing would find out that he and Song Yu had teamed up to trick him with the spirit-severing pill, so Chu Xiaofeng didn't leave the house at all, as if he was a young lady from a big family. Only after the news of Tang Jing being a cultivator reached the capital did Chu Xiaofeng finally release himself from the boudoir, and once again started to scheme with Song Yu. They finally understood why the spirit-severing pill was ineffective. It turned out that Tang Jing was a cultivator. However, this time they were no longer worried. Instead, they were ecstatic. Now that Tang Jing's identity had been exposed, he would become the target of public criticism and would attract crazy attacks. They didn't have to worry about Tang Jing coming to find trouble with them. Chu Xiaofeng was really stifled. Once he was liberated, he would linger around the Heavenly Fragrance and National Beauty every day, as carefree as an immortal. Back then, his arm was broken by Tang Jing, and his cultivation was greatly affected. However, in the end he was still able to preserve his cultivation, and was still at the second stage of the post-celestial stage. However, compared to most people, this was still an unreachable height. At least to Brother Meng, the other party was an unreachable existence. Brother Meng bent his waist and pretended to be filled with righteous indignation. "Young Master Feng, you have to uphold justice for Brother Scar. This time the other party has gone too far, they don't even put young Master Chu and the Chu family in their eyes." Chu Xiaofeng heard the whole story and asked, "Scarface has been around for so many years, yet he was still slaughtered by a brat. Isn't he too weak?" Brother Meng hurriedly explained, "This time the other party's strength was beyond our expectations, which is why we suffered such a huge loss. If young Master Feng were to take action, then it would definitely be easy to capture him. Such a small character is not even worthy of carrying young Master Feng's shoes. Of course I know that I'm not even worthy of carrying my shoes, so I'm even less interested. Chu Xiaofeng waved his hand, lacking interest. Young Master Feng, you must be interested. I guess that brat might be a warrior, which is why Brother Scar suffered such a big loss. Brother Meng looked embarrassed, but he suddenly had an idea and said, "A warrior? There are tens of thousands of warriors, so there's nothing strange about it." Chu Xiaofeng had seen too many warriors, so he was not interested at all. He looked deeply at Brother Meng and said with a fake smile, "I know what you're thinking, you want to borrow the power of our Chu family to rise up, but you're too weak, it's not worth our Chu family to make a move. If you want to take over Scarface's interests, then work hard yourself." Brother Meng's face flushed red when his thoughts were seen through. He said resentfully, "Of course I can't hide my thoughts from young Master Feng. Of course I will work hard, but I'm unwilling to let that brat Tang Jing get away with it just like that." Chu Xiaofeng suddenly sat up straight and asked with a dark face, "You just said a name, what is it?" Brother Meng looked at Chu Xiaofeng blankly and said nervously, "Young Master Feng, are you talking about that brat's name?" "That brat's name is Tang Jing." Chu Xiaofeng almost cried out in shock, his breathing involuntarily became hurried and he asked, "Is he really called Tang Jing?" Brother Meng nodded. "What does he look like?" Brother Meng recalled and described the other party's appearance bit by bit. However, he discovered that Chu Xiaofeng's breathing became more and more hurried, his eyes gradually turned red, and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. "It's him, Tang Xiao." Chu Xiaofeng suddenly burst out with a hysterical roar. Brother Meng was so scared that he shivered, and asked while trembling with fear, "Could it be that this person also provoked young Master Feng?" Of course he provoked me. I wish I could cut off his head with a single slash," Chu Xiaofeng said with a murderous aura. Brother Meng was overjoyed. With the new and old grudges added together, we should get rid of this person. "Young Master Feng, if you're afraid of dirtying your hands, send an expert with me. I guarantee that I'll bring you his head." Chu Xiaofeng looked at him with disdain and scoffed, "With just you? Even 100 of you might not be his match, and you still recklessly want to take his head." Brother Meng was flabbergasted. His neck subconsciously shrunk as if a cold wind had blown over. He asked in bewilderment, "Is that brat really that powerful?" Chu Xiaofeng rolled his eyes at him, too lazy to bother with him, but his mind was spinning rapidly. Why didn't Tang Jing die? Could it be that the martial sect turned a blind eye to him? That can't be. The martial sect had always maintained a zero-tolerance attitude towards cultivators. They would never allow a cultivator to swagger around in this world. There must be something wrong. Tang Jing could not continue to be so arrogant. Sooner or later, the martial sect would make a move against him. However, this brat killed Scarface as soon as he returned to the capital. Was he deliberately going against the Chu family and deliberately provoking them? Chu Xiaofeng was shocked. His first impression was that this was definitely done deliberately by Tang Jing. This brat was still so arrogant after his identity was exposed. He must have eaten a leopard's guts. He must have not put the Chu family in his eyes at all. No, I can't let him live so freely. The martial sect will definitely come to deal with him soon. If I can take advantage of this time to get rid of this brat, I will definitely be able to win the trust of the martial sect. That way, the Chu family will be able to take advantage of the situation to rise, and his position in the Chu family will also greatly increase. Back then, because he had provoked Tang Jing, Chu Xiaofeng had received a lot of criticism from the Chu family. If he could hold his head high this time, it would definitely be a great victory. Chapter 451. Chu Xiaofeng couldn't wait to return to the Chu family and find his father, Chu Mingxian. After Chu Mingxian heard his son's report, he muttered to himself, "You want the old man to personally take action?" "Yes, if the old man makes a move, he will definitely succeed. That brat Tang Jing will definitely die," Chu Xiaofeng vowed. Chu Mingxian was silent, his expression serious, and only after a long while did he say in a deep voice, "Your plan is not impossible. If Tang Jing dies, it would be to solve a huge problem for the martial sect. Taking advantage of this opportunity to form a relationship with the martial sect, it would be beneficial to the martial sect, but the key is the master behind Tang Jing." Mentioning this person, both father and son fell into silence. Their impression of Tian Chanzi was simply too deep. Back then, on Yen Potion's 80th birthday, not only did the Chu family lose Chu Xiaohui, a young talent, they had also lost all face. It was the shame of their entire lives. Although that person is powerful, the martial sect will not let him go after all, so he shouldn't be able to jump around for more than a few days. Without that person's protection, what kind of waves can Tang Jing jump around? Chu Xiaofeng said disapprovingly. Chu Mingxian looked deeply at his son and said with relief, Xiaofeng, you have really grown up. You can see the problem more comprehensively and deeply, and you also know how to share the burden of this family. Your suggestion is not bad. Before the old man sleeps, we will immediately go find him. Chu Xiaofeng was overjoyed and hurriedly nodded. The father and son arrived in front of a small house and stopped in their tracks. They respectfully shouted, Father, I brought Xiaofeng to see you. What's the matter? An old voice sounded. We have something to report to you. Didn't I tell you before that you should try to make a decision about the Ye family and not disturb my cultivation? The old voice said. Chu Mingxian lowered his head and said, Father, I am unable to make a decision on this matter. I must report it to you. The other party pondered for a moment, then said, Come in. Crick. An iron door opened on its own without any wind, revealing a dark room. There was not a single ray of light in the room, so it was impossible to see what was going on inside. Chu Xiaofeng shivered. He had been very afraid of his grandfather since he was young, and when the old man got older, his temperament became very strange. He did not like the sun and locked himself in this small iron house all day long. It was said that he was cultivating, and it was very difficult for others to see him. If it wasn't for something important, the iron door would never be opened. Chu Mingxian and Chu Xiaofeng fell into the darkness. The iron door closed with a bang, scaring Chu Xiaofeng so much that his entire body trembled. It was pitch black and he couldn't see anything. However, the old master's voice rang out. Xiaofeng, you're a man of the Chu family. How can you be so useless? Just now, you were so scared that your whole body was trembling. Facing this question, Chu Xiaofeng's legs went soft, and he had the urge to kneel on the ground. He said with fear and trepidation, Grandfather's lesson is very right, I will definitely try my best to correct it. What is it? Just say it, the old man said. Chu Mingxian had already thought of an excuse long ago. He explained it concisely, and the small metal house instantly fell into silence. There was not the slightest sound. Even the breathing of the three people could not be heard. It was as if they were holding their breaths. You want me to deal with Tang Jing and rope in the martial sect? After a long while the old man asked. Yes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the Chu family. Now that the honeymoon period between the Chu family and the Yan family is over, we must find a new backer, and the martial sect is even stronger than the Yan family. Chu Mingxian analyzed with conviction. The martial sect has always been arrogant. Will they care about what you do? The old man asked. Yes, the matter with Tang Jing is not an exception. I heard that many strange things have happened in the 10,000 mountains of southern Yunnan, and there are even new cultivators that have appeared. Although the martial sect is strong, their strength in the secular world is not that strong, and we can make up for this weakness of the martial sect. Chu Mingxian said. Could it be that the other families are all fools? Giving such a good thing to our Chu family? The old man asked. Chu Mingxian was confident and said, I have already confirmed it. The Ye family has already announced to the outside world that the Ye family and the Tang Jing will no longer have anything to do with each other from now on, and will go their separate ways. Oh, that old man Yi Xuanji actually broke through his cultivation when he was about to die, and now he is so decisive in pushing Tang Jing out of the Ye family. It's really strange. The old man said in surprise. Actually, there's nothing strange about this. Chu Xiaofeng had adapted to the darkness, and the pressure he felt had weakened a lot. He changed the topic and said, the Ye family is a group of people who fish for fame. They did not openly go against the Tang Jing because they were afraid of being poked at behind their backs, saying that they are as cowardly as mice. Humph, but didn't the Ye family also end up in a situation where they forget about righteousness for the sake of profit? That old man Yi Xuanji actually rejected his own grandson-in-law. What a decisive move. The old man sneered in ridicule. I think they were afraid of being implicated by the martial sect, so they made plans early on. Chu Mingxian added. The martial sect is indeed not something that an ordinary family would dare to go against. In that case, Tang Jing can be considered a small fish that escaped the net. If we catch this fish, then everything will be fine? The old man asked. Although it won't be fine, it is indeed a way to get close to the martial sect. It is worth a try. Chu Mingxian said cautiously. The old man muttered to himself, and only after a while did he agree. We can kill him, but he is just a small character, and you need me to take action. Are you all idiots? Although it was dark, Chu Mingxian and Chu Xiaofeng still felt a burning pain on their cheeks. Chu Mingxian explained, I am not afraid of Tang Jing, but I am worried that his mysterious master will appear. So, just in case, I asked Father to take action. The darkness fell into silence as if the old man was thinking. After a long while, he said, "All right, I promise you, unless his mysterious master appears, I will not make a move. Don't disappoint me." The father and son pair were overjoyed and hurriedly nodded their heads in agreement. Then they quickly left the small iron house. Chu Xiaofeng's back was cold and he was actually drenched in cold sweat. Immediately track that brat's whereabouts and then wait for an opportunity to move. Chu Mingxian ordered. Yes, sir. Chu Xiaofeng could not hide his joy as he accepted the order and left. In the middle of the night, Tang Jing waited for Lu Qingmei and Nana to fall asleep before leaving with Xiao Bai. In the darkness of the night, a figure quickly flashed through the streets and alleys, flying towards the imperial city. After a while, he arrived at the foot of the imperial city. Just as Tang Jing was about to flip over and enter, his heart suddenly trembled. He turned his head to look not far away and in a flash, he pounced over. Whiz! A stone was thrown out of his hand. It was like a bullet streaking across the night sky, emitting a sharp sound as it pierced through the air. The stone hit the ground and shattered into pieces, and the floor that was hit quickly cracked open, covered in cracks. This attack had clearly missed, but the person hiding in the shadows had also appeared. Who is it? Why are you following me sneakily? Tang Zheng's killing intent was exposed as he asked coldly. The one who walked out from the darkness was actually Martial. She stared at Tang Zheng with burning eyes, then looked at the towering imperial city. She frowned and said, "It's the middle of the night, what are you doing here?" Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Why are you following me in the middle of the night instead of sleeping? You deliberately avoided me. What else can I do if I don't use this method to get close to you?" Martial asked angrily. Tang Zheng was speechless. Ever since he returned to the capital, he had sent Martial away, and then seemed to have forgotten about her existence. He never thought that she would be so persistent, actually following him in the middle of the night. "You've been following me all night?" Tang Zheng was shocked. Since she was able to follow him to this place, then she must have discovered Lu Qingmei's residence. Lu Qingmei was a cultivator, could it be that she was also exposed? Martial's eyes revealed a trace of ridicule as he said, "You really like to play the trick of hiding a beauty in a golden house. That's your high school teacher, right?" Tang Jing said without changing his expression, "This is none of your business." "Of course I don't care about these messy things," Martial said. Tang Jing heaved a sigh of relief. Although Lu Qingmei was a cultivator, to martial artists, cultivators were just like ordinary people. If they did not take the initiative to expose themselves, they would not be able to tell. In other words, Martial had not discovered Lu Qingmei's identity as a cultivator. "What's the point of following me like this? Could it be that you really want to stay by my side?" Tang Jing asked curiously. "I came here today to tell you two things." "Oh, what is it?" "Didn't you tell me to ask Li Xiaotian about the movements of the Rockefeller family? They haven't made any movements recently. In addition, Lewis's whereabouts have not appeared. I reckon he should have returned to his own country." This was not much different from what Tang Zheng had expected. As long as Lewis did not do anything else, he would not have the time to pay attention to him. "In addition, you have to accompany me to the martial sect." "What?" Tang Zheng was shocked. "You want me to go to the martial sect? Then wouldn't I be walking right into a trap? I'm not that stupid." Martial said disdainfully, "If I really wanted to kill you, why would I save you?" Tang Zheng was speechless. However, he still wouldn't go to the martial sect. Although Martial had already pointed out that the martial sect's sect master might be his biological father, he didn't want to be entangled with the other party. Seeing that he was unmoved, Martial continued, "Sect master has already returned to the martial sect, but sect master is injured. However, sect master wants me to pass on a message to you. It is very likely that 100 Transformation Star Lord has also left the 10,000 huge mountains. 100 Transformation Star Lord's temperament is changeable, and his strength is so strong. Didn't your martial sect boast about hunting cultivators as your responsibility? Then go and get rid of the 100 Transformation Star Lord." Tang Jing said in ridicule. Martial's face was slightly embarrassed. He hesitated for a moment and said, "No one in the martial sect is a match for the 100 Transformation Star Lord." "Oh, so you guys are trying to bully the weak. You're not a match for the 100 Transformation Star Lord, so you came to bully me, right?" "Nonsense, who bullied you? Letting you go to the martial sect is for your own good. Don't bite the hand that feeds you," Martial said angrily. The corner of Tang Zheng's mouth raised slightly and said, "For my own good? I don't think so. In short, I'm not interested in going to the martial sect. Don't waste your saliva trying to persuade me. I'll wait until you go. How long can you wait? Until you go. Tang Jing shrugged his shoulders. Then go ahead, but there's no need to follow me, please go back. Chapter 452. Tang Jing's face was filled with resentment. Back then, he had tricked the third elder in the imperial city and allowed him to enter the five-clawed golden dragon's stomach. It really is you. Martial instantly understood and revealed an unkind expression. I had long guessed that you were related to this matter. How did you do it? Since he had been seen through, Tang Jing did not deny it and openly said, if I don't kill him, he will kill me. This is a situation of life and death. Although Martial admitted that what Tang Jing said was true, the person who died was the third elder of the Martial sect after all, and his relationship with Martial was even closer. If it weren't for your relationship with the sect master and the Martial sect, I would have killed you right now. Martial said hatefully. You're not my match. You can't kill me. Tang Jing said bluntly. Martial's face was slightly embarrassed and he was speechless. After pondering for a moment, he changed the topic and asked, did you come to the Imperial City in the middle of the night to do something bad again? No comment. Then I'll follow you and see what you're going to do. Although I can't kill you now, I have to be on guard against you doing bad things. Martial said warily. Tang Jing curled his lips. How could I do bad things? On the contrary, it's more likely that you will do bad things. Since you're willing to follow, then let's see if you can keep up. Tang Jing tapped his foot and flipped over the walls of the Imperial City. With a leap, he disappeared from the Imperial City. Martial's speed was not slow either, following him like a shadow. Tang Jing did not head straight for the palace, but instead led Martial around the Imperial City. He was more familiar with the environment of the Imperial City. After circling around for half a round, Martial was already a little lost, and was left further and further behind by Tang Jing. Whoosh! Tang Jing looked back and finally did not find any traces of Martial. He could not help but heave a sigh of relief. He suddenly changed the direction of his advance and shot towards a nearby palace. Finally, he arrived at his destination, activated the array and entered the ground. However, Martial was like a headless fly, searching for a long time, but he had no choice but to admit that Tang Jing had indeed disappeared without a trace. She angrily stomped her feet and muttered unwillingly, this person is extremely hateful. Where did he go? Why did he disappear into thin air? Tang Jing had a faint smile on his face as he arrived at the huge hall. Xiao Bai took the lead and jumped in front of the five-clawed golden dragon. The five-clawed golden dragon's eyes were also filled with joy. He spoke in human language, you're finally here. This time you must let him accompany me for a few more days. The five-clawed golden dragon seemed to be used to the days when Xiao Bai was around. This time, after Xiao Bai left, it actually felt a strong sense of loneliness. Xiao Bai rubbed itself against the five-clawed golden dragon's body and squeaked a few times. It was full of joy. The little guy seemed to have fallen in love with the five-clawed golden dragon. No problem. Tang Jing agreed. I came here this time to ask you a few questions. The five-clawed golden dragon stared at him with its big eyes and said meaningfully, this trip to Dianan, your harvest is not small. You actually increased your cultivation again. Hey, your body actually gives me a feeling of being reborn. Could it be that this is my illusion? Tang Jing's heart moved as he remembered the mysterious heart. Could it be that all of this was due to it? Thus, he hurriedly voiced his conjecture. Immediately, the five-clawed golden dragon exclaimed in disbelief, what, you actually absorbed Qi Yu's heart? I'm not sure if that's Qi Yu's heart. Tang Jing said. You're not sure, but I'm 100% sure that it's Qi Yu's heart. Qi Yu died, but I didn't expect his heart to be left behind and let you get such a big advantage. The Qi Yu's heart contains powerful energy. The five-clawed golden dragon said. Why does it sound so sour to me? Could it be that you also want this heart? Tang Jing teased. The five-clawed golden dragon said without hiding anything, I can't even if I want it. Qi Yu's heart is in my body so it can kill me directly. Tang Jing felt incredulous. Isn't the physique of your dragon race very strong? How can you die because of this heart? The five-clawed golden dragon rolled his eyes and said, do you think that Qi Yu's heart is so simple? The reason you're able to survive is because you're a celestial, the nine-yang saint body. That coincides with the Qi Yu's body. That's why you were able to contain this heart. Otherwise, the powerful energy of the Qi Yu's heart would have directly destroyed your body and incinerated your soul. Tang Jing suddenly remembered the scene of Qi Yu's heart entering his body. At that time he was in great pain as if he was about to die. But later on he was strangely safe. This was definitely the effect of the 9 yang saint body. Tang Jing patted his chest and sighed with lingering fear. This really is a new lease on life. I walked on the edge of death. This is a great opportunity. Hee, now I'm more and more confident that you'll be able to release me from this cage. The 5-clawed golden dragon said proudly. Just now you said that Qiyu's heart contains a powerful energy. Just what kind of energy is it? Tang Jing asked curiously. The 5-clawed golden dragon shook his head and said, I don't know. This secret is only known to celestials. In history, celestials were very powerful and obtained great achievements. There were 2 conditions. One was that their body was originally the best for cultivation. The second was that there was a mysterious inheritance between celestials. The 5-clawed golden dragon was very satisfied with Tang Jing's reaction and continued, because the era between 2 celestials is very long, they can't personally pass down this inheritance. Celestials often store their lifetime's cultivation and many profound mysteries in a certain part of their body and pass it down to the next celestial. Tang Jing was dumbstruck. This was truly shocking news. If that was the case, then Qiyu's heart really contained a huge treasure. When he was able to secretly break the restriction on Buzhou Mountain, it was undoubtedly the effect of Qiyu's heart. Moreover, he was able to call out the name of the heaven and earth black stone. It was definitely related to Qiyu's heart. With all of these, Tang Jing had already enjoyed a lot of the benefits brought by Qiyu's heart. However, it is more common to pass down this powerful and mysterious energy through Saraira. The 5-clawed golden dragon added. Saraira? Isn't it said that only after a senior monk passes away can a Saraira be created? Tang Jing asked in surprise. That is also a Saraira, but it is completely different from the celestial Saraira. After a celestial dies, their body will spontaneously combust, and all of their energy will condense into a single Saraira. It is said that this kind of Saraira is as bright as the sun and the moon. It is extremely rare to see it. Tang Jing was intoxicated as he listened. There were too many mysteries about celestials. Even though he only heard a few words from the 5-clawed golden dragon's mouth, he was still very shocked. However, Qiyu obviously didn't use the Saraira method. Instead, he condensed all the energy in his heart, which benefited you. Wait until you completely inherit the mysteries of Qiyu's heart, then you will be able to easily save me. I am really looking forward to it. I have witnessed the growth and rise of a celestial. This is really a rare and miraculous experience. The 5-clawed golden dragon said with a strange expression on his face. Tang Jing knew that Qiyu's heart was not something that could be understood in a short period of time. It was better to first understand the matter of the heaven and earth black stone, so he asked, Do you know about the heaven and earth black stone? Of course I know about it. It is a spirit stone that gathers the essence of heaven and earth. However, it is very rare. The most famous one is the stairway to heaven in Buzhou Mountain. However, the stairway to heaven has already been destroyed by the 100-Change Star Lord. The 5-clawed golden dragon said regretfully. Hearing this, Tang Jing was shocked. He did not expect the 5-clawed golden dragon to know so many things. He quickly said, Since you also know about the Buzhou Mountain and the stairway to heaven, then I will tell you something. The 100-Change Star Lord is not dead. He has appeared in this world again. What? The 5-clawed golden dragon's whiskers trembled slightly. How is that possible? It has already been so many years. He is still not dead? Yes, he is not dead. I even escaped from his hands. Tang Jing said solemnly, How do you know so many things? As long as you live long enough, you will know a lot of things that other people do not know. Although I have only lived for 1,000 years, but the history of the dragon race has a long history. There are a lot of things recorded, so I know a lot of secrets. The 5-clawed golden dragon said proudly. What kind of race is your dragon race? Tang Jing asked curiously. The 5-clawed golden dragon pretended to be mysterious and said, When you meet more dragons in the future, you will naturally know. Back then, the 100-Change Star Lord was quite powerful. Now, no one in this world is his match. This was a regrettable reality. Let's not talk about the 100-Change Star Lord for now. Do you know where the heaven and earth Shen stone went after the heaven stairway was destroyed? Tang Jing asked. The heaven and earth Shen stone are scattered in every corner of the world, and no one can predict their exact location. However, as long as you have the heart, you will definitely be able to find these heaven and earth Shen stone. As far as I know, Qiyu has found quite a few heaven and earth Shen stone, and other people have also found them. However, it is not easy to collect all of them. Tang Jing's heart moved. The heaven and earth Shen stone buried in the Witch Clan's plaza must have been found by Qiyu. The key now was where the other heaven and earth Shen stone were. I can tell what you're thinking just by looking at your eyes. You want to gather all the heaven and earth Shen stone, right? Hehe, I know a place that must have this thing. The five-clawed golden dragon said mysteriously. Where? Tang Jing asked impatiently. Southern Sea Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace? Tang Jing was extremely surprised. Yes, back then the dragon clan built a dragon palace in the Southern Sea, and the cornerstone was the heaven and earth Shen stone. Later on, the dragon clan left the dragon palace, but the dragon palace was left behind. I believe that the heaven and earth Shen stone are still in their original place. Tang Jing was overjoyed and asked, where is the exact location of the dragon palace? Don't be in a hurry to ask me. Let me ask you first. What exactly do you want the heaven and earth Shen stone for? The heaven and earth Shen stone can be used to rebuild the heaven stairway. Could it be that you want to rebuild the heaven stairway and then go to the sky beyond heaven to bring back the other cultivators? The five-clawed golden dragon asked curiously. Chapter 453. I'm not interested in what you're going to do as long as you get me out of here. However, the dragon palace I mentioned is indeed a good place to go. It's empty so you can easily get the dark stones of heaven and earth. The five-clawed golden dragon said. Tang Jing nodded his head and asked for the detailed address, memorizing it in his heart. I have one more thing to ask you. Do you know if there are dark stones of heaven and earth buried in the imperial city? Here too? The five-clawed golden dragon's eyes widened. That's right. When they were building this imperial city, every time the palace was about to be completed, they would fail. Then they would find heaven and earth mystic stones from somewhere and bury them underground, allowing the palace to be built smoothly. Tang Jing repeated the information that Xuanhuan had found. Hearing this, the five-clawed golden dragon's eyes flashed with a terrifying light and murderously said, so that's how it is. When they wanted to suppress me with that array, I was able to resist at first. Later, I felt that the array's power suddenly increased. I never thought that it was the dark stones of heaven and earth. What a cunning human. The dark stones of heaven and earth can greatly increase the power of the array. No wonder I was suppressed alive for so many years. Then do you know how to find the dark stones of heaven and earth? The array eye. The five-clawed golden dragon said without hesitation. The dark stones of heaven and earth can only increase the power of the array when placed in the array eye. Oh, where is the array eye? In the stone room behind. The five-clawed golden dragon moved its huge body and revealed a stone door behind it. Tang Jing was shocked. He did not expect that there was a stone room behind it. He could not help but stare at the closed stone door. Enter this door and you can see if the dark stones of heaven and earth you're looking for are inside. The five-clawed golden dragon said. Tang Jing could not wait to rush over. He stared at the stone door and asked, since you know the array eye, why didn't you open it before? There is a restriction on this stone door. Only humans can open it. If I touch it, I will definitely trigger the restriction. The five-clawed golden dragon said helplessly. Tang Jing suddenly realized that the eccentric person who built the imperial city must have added a restriction on the door to prevent the five-clawed golden dragon from breaking the formation by itself. However, even with the huge body of the five-clawed golden dragon, it was unable to squeeze into this small stone room. That person was worrying too much. Of course you have to push a door. Do you need me to teach you that? Tang Jing was greatly embarrassed. He quickly placed both of his hands on the stone door. Ripples appeared on the stone door. This stone door was incomparably heavy. He took a deep breath and circulated his true qi. Ka. The stone door slowly opened. It was pitch black inside. Tang Jing looked around and said, why is there nothing here? Why don't you go in and take a look? The five-clawed golden dragon said. Tang Jing hesitated for a moment, then lifted his foot and walked in. Bang. The stone door quickly closed with a loud muffled sound, which gave Tang Jing a fright. He quickly calmed himself down and was on full alert. Boom. A green lamp lit up. The faint light finally allowed Tang Jing to see the scene in the stone room. Immediately he could not help but exclaim, ah! The sound echoed in the stone room. It was frightening. At this moment Tang Jing was both shocked and frightened. This was because he clearly saw that in the middle of the stone room, there was a praying mat. And on the praying mat sat a person. Yes, there was another person in this stone room. That was why Tang Jing had such a big reaction when he stepped on it. Tang Jing stared at this person dumbfoundedly. His hair and beard were snow white. He looked like a celestial being in a painting. His hands were tightly closed as he sat cross-legged on the praying mat. It was as if he was unconscious. Tang Jing was bewildered. He did not know whether the other person was dead or alive, so he asked cautiously, who are you? He asked 3 times in a row, but the other person did not respond. Tang Jing was puzzled. Could it be that this person was already dead but his body had not decomposed? Tang Jing could not be completely baffled by a guy who could not move. So he took a deep breath and walked straight over. He leaned in front of the other person and reached out to check his breathing. Suddenly the closed eyes suddenly opened. It was as if a breathtaking gaze shot out. Tang Jing subconsciously took 3 steps back before he could stabilize his body. He cried out involuntarily, "You're still alive." The 5-clawed golden dragon had been imprisoned here for hundreds of years. If this person was still alive, then he must have lived without water for hundreds of years. This was too incredible. The old man's eyes were like lightning. He stared at Tang Jing and asked in an unfriendly tone, "Who are you? Why are you here?" "Junior Tang Jing. May I ask who Senior is?" Tang Jing asked cautiously. "Ignorant Junior, you trespassed here. Do you want to let the 5-clawed golden dragon go?" The old man asked fiercely. "No." Tang Jing flatly denied. "Do you know that if the 5-clawed golden dragon escapes, then the emperor can no longer continue to absorb the dragon chi? This is destroying the imperial dragon vein. Can you afford to take the blame?" The old man asked arrogantly. "Emperor, dragon vein?" Tang Jing's eyelids twitched. Did this old man stay underground for too long? He did not know the changes on the surface and thought that there was an emperor and dragon vein. "Quickly leave or you will be in danger. Then don't blame me for not reminding you," the old man said to himself. Tang Jing did not retreat. He came here for the heaven and earth obsidian. How could he give up halfway like this? So he asked in a deep voice, "Senior, Junior has disturbed and offended you. But today is different from the past. There is no longer an emperor. Times have changed. I came here to find the heaven and earth obsidian. Please tell me." "Ignorant Junior, quickly leave. Do you really want to die here?" The old man's tone became more and more fierce, making it difficult to breathe. Tang Jing secretly operated his true chi and said calmly, "Senior, please don't blame me. If Senior knows anything about the heaven and earth obsidian, please tell me. Then I will leave this place immediately." The old man turned a deaf ear and continued to berate with a murderous aura, "Quickly leave, quickly leave." Tang Jing's eyes revealed a strange look. This old man kept repeating and forcing him to leave, but ignored his question. This was not good. He could not return empty-handed. Tang Jing was also skilled and bold. Instead of retreating, he took large strides towards the old man. His heart was beating like a drum. This old man was too mysterious. Tang Jing could not figure out his strength. The old man remained as still as a pine tree, but his voice was powerful and resonant as he said, "Quickly retreat. Senior, don't you feel tired talking like this? You're like a repeater." Tang Jing joked, but the old man still repeated the same words. When Tang Jing carefully walked in front of the old man still did not move. His mouth kept repeating the same words. Tang Jing's heart trembled. He suddenly had an illusion that this old man was not a living person, but a machine like a repeater. "Senior, if you don't say anything, then I can only offend you." Seeing that the old man was just shooting his mouth off, Tang Jing slightly relaxed his vigilance. He reached out to grab the old man's shoulder. Tang Jing was completely focused, afraid that the old man would counterattack. However, when his hand landed on the old man's shoulder, the old man still did not react. However, Tang Jing's reaction was very big. Because he grabbed empty air, the shoulder turned into specks of light. They scattered in his hand and quickly disappeared. Tang Jing suddenly realized and cried out involuntarily, "Illusion, this is an illusion. It's just that it's too realistic. I actually fell for it." No wonder he kept repeating those words like a repeater. It's not a real person at all. His voice came to an abrupt end. The old man's entire body turned into specks of light and dissipated in the air. It was like thousands of fireflies flying out of the stone room. It was incomparably gorgeous. Tang Jing did not know whether to laugh or cry. The old man had really put in a lot of effort to use such an illusion to trick him. If he had not persevered, he would have really been scared away. However, from this illusion, it could be seen how powerful this old man was. An illusion could last for hundreds of years like a real person. This kind of skill was too rare. No wonder a divine creature like the 5-clawed golden dragon was imprisoned here. This old man's cultivation was ridiculously high. Tang Jing could not help but sigh. The specks of light completely dissipated, and the lamp also went out with a whoosh. However, the stone room did not turn pitch black. Instead, a bit of gentle white light spread out from the bottom of his feet. Not long later, the stone room was enveloped in white light. This white light was not dazzling at all. It was extremely gentle and seemed familiar. Tang Jing blurted out, Heaven and Earth Shen Stone. Yes, this was the light emitted by the Heaven and Earth Shen Stone. It was exactly the same as what he had seen in the Witch Clan's plaza. Tang Jing immediately followed the source of the light and found that it came from underground. The ground was made of stone slabs, and the light came from the gaps between the stone slabs, illuminating this small space. The Heaven and Earth Shen Stone is underground. Tang Jing was overjoyed. Judging from the light, there should be a lot of Heaven and Earth Shen Stone. Haha, my luck is really good this time. It's all thanks to Professor Chi's reminder. Tang Jing was overjoyed. He had an idea and thought that since the Heaven and Earth Shen Stone was the core of the formation, it must be related to the survival of the formation. If he took out these Heaven and Earth Shen Stones, the power of the formation would decrease sharply. Then wouldn't the five-clawed golden dragon be able to break out of the prison? He had promised to save the five-clawed golden dragon, but according to the five-clawed golden dragon, he needed to reach the semi-god realm to do so. But now, a miracle seemed to have happened. Without the cultivation of the semi-god realm, he could help the five-clawed golden dragon break through the shackles. The key was to take out these Heaven and Earth Shen Stones. Tang Jing was extremely excited. After a long while, he calmed down and circulated his genuine qi. His power was instantly raised to the peak and he struck out with his palms. Boom, boom. The two palms hit the floor with a dull sound. In an instant the earth shook and the mountains shook. Tang Jing's body hit the wall with a whoosh. The stone room also shook violently as if there was an earthquake. Chapter 454. Tens of thousands of lights were lit up, and the sound of alarms resounded through the sky. Many people rushed to the streets. Many of them were still naked, only wrapped in blankets. They looked at each other in horror and asked, "Earthquake? It must be an earthquake." The great earthquake in the West a few years ago had caused the people of this country to fall into a state of panic over earthquakes. Where did it shake this time? Everyone shook their heads blankly. Fortunately, the ground had stopped shaking, and the anger of the earth seemed to have stopped. However, no one dared to go home. They all stood on the streets, accepting the baptism of the cold wind. At this moment the Earthquake Bureau was in a mess. There was a huge earthquake in the capital, but they did not know about it at all. They did not even have the slightest warning. The test shows that the vibration started from the Imperial City, and the vibration waves also spread from the Imperial City. The staff wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and reported loudly, "Imperial City? How could that be? The capital is not in the earthquake zone, and the Imperial City is the center of the capital, so it is even more impossible for an earthquake to happen." Some experts questioned. But now it was useless to just doubt. They had to figure out the ins and outs of the matter. The phone was already ringing non-stop. These were all people who wanted to ask about the situation, but the Earthquake Bureau did not know anything. Send someone to the scene immediately. In the Imperial City, Wu was waiting for the rabbit, but she was shocked by the shaking of the earth. However, the shaking quickly stopped. Her heart was in a mess. How could there be an earthquake? Suddenly she had an idea. Could it be that this had something to do with Tang Jing? She was shocked by this thought. What ability did Tang Jing have to cause such a huge earthquake? But if it wasn't him, who else could cause such a huge commotion? Moreover, as someone who was at the scene, she could clearly feel that the earthquake had started from the Imperial City. She looked towards the well-arranged group of palaces, and her gaze narrowed as she locked onto a direction. The vibration is coming from there. I have to go take a look. Whiz. With a leap, Marshall flew out like a lark, rapidly advancing between the palaces. At this moment, Tang Jing finally stood firm on his feet. He looked up and saw that the floor was not damaged at all. The soft white light still seeped through the cracks of the stone. Let's try again. I don't believe that I can't get the Heaven and Earth Black Stone out. Tang Jing clenched his teeth. This time he did not use his hands, but took out the heaven-shocking bow and the shooting sun arrows. Skywalker, what are you doing? The five-clawed golden dragon's voice came from outside the stone door. It was very weak. Obviously, the soundproofing effect of the stone door was good. What happened? You made the entire capital quake, do you know that? The five-clawed golden dragon said. What? Earthquake? Tang Jing thought that it was just the stone room shaking a little. He didn't expect that it would cause an earthquake in the entire capital. This movement was too big. I found the Heaven and Earth Black Stone, but it's buried underground. I just wanted to get it out, but I didn't succeed. Tang Jing said. The five-clawed golden dragon pondered for a moment. Then he said, "Then quickly think of a way to get the Heaven and Earth Black Stone. That way we can break this array formation. Then I can escape." But under my attack there was no effect. The five-clawed golden dragon urged, then use a stronger attack, use a magic treasure. Just as Tang Zheng was about to try again, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind, and he immediately stopped his hand. What are you still dawdling for? The five-clawed golden dragon realized that there was no movement for a long time and asked. Just now, when I attacked with my bare hands, the entire capital experienced an earthquake. If I were to use a stronger attack, would it cause an even greater commotion or even cause a huge earthquake causing the entire city to fall into a calamity? Tang Zheng was shocked by his own thoughts. It was true that he wanted to save the five-clawed golden dragon, but he would not sacrifice the lives of countless people. What will happen if I forcefully take out the heaven and earth black stone? Tang Zheng asked loudly. The five-clawed golden dragon paused for a moment, then said, There are no consequences. You're lying. The capital will definitely be greatly affected, right? Tang Zheng asked coldly. The five-clawed golden dragon was silent. It was obvious that he agreed with this result. So it's like this. Fortunately, I thought a little more, otherwise it would cause a disaster, then I would regret it to death. Tang Zheng said with lingering fear. Skywalker, saving me is a top priority. You can't miss this great opportunity. There are thousands of people in this world, sacrificing a few is inevitable. The five-clawed golden dragon advised. Tang Zheng sneered, pushed open the stone door and walked out. Looking at the five-clawed golden dragon, he said, You are really ruthless. Using the lives of so many people in exchange for your freedom. The five-clawed golden dragon angrily said, Why didn't you do anything? I can't save you but sacrificing the lives of countless people. Tang Zheng said coldly. If you give up this opportunity, then I will be trapped here for countless days. Then you will continue to be trapped here. Tang Zheng was not afraid. The five-clawed golden dragon roared. A gust of wind blew as it rushed towards Tang Zheng. Its huge dragon mouth seemed like it wanted to swallow Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng, however, did not move an inch as he stared straight at it. Squeak. Xiao Bai jumped in front of Tang Zheng and bared its teeth at the five-clawed golden dragon, stopping it from moving. The huge dragon head stopped in front of Tang Zheng. Staring at each other, the five-clawed golden dragon asked, Are you really not afraid of me? Because I am afraid of you, I have to sacrifice the lives of countless people? Although I am not a saint, I can't be so cold-blooded and merciless. Tang Zheng was not moved. The five-clawed golden dragon breathed out. It was obvious that it was extremely angry. I am very suspicious as to why that person imprisoned you here. I think it is not as simple as just letting the Emperor absorb your dragon chi to strengthen the dragon vein. Tang Zheng asked. A trace of panic flashed through the five-clawed golden dragon's huge eyes. It said, What other reason could there be other than that? This is the shamelessness of humans, so it doesn't matter how many people die, I am very happy. Tang Zheng sneered, I am also a human. You are a Skywalker, you are no longer a human. The five-clawed golden dragon retorted. Tang Zheng shook his head, You know that I am not a human, I want to continue being a human, so don't even think about it. I know that the heaven and earth mystic stone is here. As for saving you, when I reach the soul formation stage, I will naturally break this formation and save you. That way, I will not sacrifice the lives of others, and you will also be able to escape. It is killing two birds with one stone, I did not break my promise to you. The five-clawed golden dragon took a deep breath. It was as if all the air in the hall was sucked into its stomach. It stared closely at Tang Zheng and said, You are ruthless. Tang Zheng's mouth hooked up into a smile. He believed that the five-clawed golden dragon would make the right decision. It had waited for hundreds of years and finally had this opportunity. It certainly would not kill Tang Zheng to vent its anger. It needed him. Just now, I saw an illusion inside. It was a white-haired old man with a transcendent aura. Who was he? Tang Zheng asked. It was that old man, he was the one who trapped me here. The five-clawed golden dragon's eyes widened as it flew into a rage. I guessed it was him, but it was just an illusion. It has already disappeared. Humph, if he was not already dead, I would have eaten him alive. The five-clawed golden dragon said angrily. Back then you weren't even his match. What are you talking about? Tang Zheng curled his lips and said disdainfully, ignoring the five-clawed golden dragon's anger, he said, I caused such a big commotion, the capital will definitely be in an uproar. Someone will come here, I'll leave first. Xiao Bai, are you leaving? Xiao Bai shook his head. Tang Zheng returned to the main hall. Just as he walked out of the palace, he saw a figure shooting towards him. His pupils constricted and his entire body trembled. However, when he saw the other party's appearance, he heaved a sigh of relief. Why haven't you left yet? Tang Zheng asked in surprise. Martial stared at him with a complicated expression and asked, "Were you the one who caused the earthquake just now?" Tang Jing declined to comment and said, "There will definitely be countless people rushing over here soon. Let's leave this place first." Seeing that he did not admit it, Martial coldly snorted and said, "What's so strange about this place? Also, where did you go just now?" As she spoke, she raised her head to look at the palace behind him. However, at the beginning she had also investigated the palace, but she did not find anything. Martial was full of suspicion, but Tang Jing had already rushed out of the imperial city. She had no choice but to follow. Not long after, the alarm came from afar and the police arrived. However, there were a few black shadows that were even faster than the authorities. So. The sound of something tearing through the air was like arrows piercing through the night sky. In an instant, they crossed the tall city walls and stood on top of the tall palace. Not long after, 3 people gathered on top of the palace. They were Yi Xuanji Yan Qishan, and another white-haired old man. This white-haired old man was not an ordinary person. He was the head of the Song family, Song Jianan, who was also Song Yu's grandfather, a martial artist of the Great Master realm. Yan Qishan looked deeply at Yi Xuanji and asked, "Ye family head, do you know what caused this earthquake?" Yi Xuanji's eyes were as serious as the night, and he said in a deep voice, "I sensed that the tremors were caused by this place, but now I don't feel anything at all. This is definitely not an earthquake. Someone caused it and it's in the imperial city. What a big deal." Song Jianan laughed strangely. "Brother Jianan, in your opinion, who in the capital can have such great ability?" Yi Xuanji asked. Song Jianan looked towards Yan Qishan and said, "As everyone knows, in the capital, Yen Potion's cultivation is the highest, so if you ask who is most likely to do this, it can only be him." Seeing that the spearhead was pointed at his father, Yan Qishan immediately denied it. "Two patriarchs, my father is currently in closed-door cultivation, how could he possibly do such a thing? Moreover, with my father's cultivation, he might not be able to do such a big commotion." "Oh, if even your father is unable to do it, then who else could it be? Could it be that another expert has come to the capital?" Song Jianan said meaningfully. He looked deeply at Yi Xuanji and said, "Isn't the Ye family related to cultivators? Could it be that some expert cultivator has come?" Yi Xuanji's face darkened and said, "You can't speak carelessly, the Ye family has nothing to do with cultivators. As for Tang Jing, we have already cut off all ties with him. This is the good grandson-in-law you chose. If I were to meet him, I would definitely let him experience the methods of the Song family." Song Jianan said with a fake smile.